Hey guys, tonight we dive into molten metal and mysteries older than your Wi-Fi router's reboot cycle. Picture this. You stand ankle deep in sand, hotter than a sidewalk in July. Bronze glows orange as it spills into a mold shaped like tomorrow's regrets. Some call it artisanal craftsmanship. You call it signing up for degree burns. Before you melt into a puddle of why did I skip sunscreen, remember, you probably won't survive watching this without hitting that subscribe button. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your location and local time. Let's map how many time zones this tale can haunt simultaneously. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The air reeks of seaweed and regret as you crouch beside the furnace. A shirtless man with forearms like twisted rope tends the fire. His tongs gleam in the half-dark. You've heard of lost wax casting in history class, the same technique used for Benin's bronze plaques back in 1600 something, but textbooks never mentioned the sweat dripping into the crucible, the way it hisses like a scorned lover. Historians still argue whether these old bell makers tasted the molten metal for purity, or just had a death wish. Embers spit as he pours liquid bronze into the mold. Sand sizzles. The stink of burnt earth clogs your throat. He's chanting something now, maybe a prayer, maybe a grocery list. Did you know 13th century monks believed singing to cooling bronze prevented bubbles? True story, though this guy's falsetto won't win any bard contests. The bell takes shape, a slumped shadow in the sand, its clapper still just a rumor. Night falls like a drunk leaning on your shoulder. Waves slap the shore 30 paces east, or is that your pulse misbehaving? You count 17 seagulls circling overhead before realizing they're just ash from the furnace. The artisan carves symbols into the cooling metal spirals that twist like a politician's promise. No one knows if those glyphs warded off storms or just marked which taverns served the best mead. A cold breeze sneaks under your collar. Suddenly, the bell shudders. Not a sound yet, but a vibration you feel in your fillings. The man freezes, his chisel hovering like a hummingbird with commitment issues. Here's a fun fact: 90% of medieval bells cracked during their first toll. Makes you wonder if this one's fate hinges on skill or dumb luck. Dawn bleeds across the beach as he sands the bell's rim. His hands move smoother than a con artist's handshake, every stroke calculated. You notice the scar across his palm, raised and white like a smuggler's map. Coral reefs aren't the only things growing in saltwater. Old grudges brine just as well. The tide creeps closer, nibbling at your boots. You step back straight into a puddle of leftover bronze. It hardens around your foot before you can mutter an expletive. So much for silent exits. The artisan grunts, prying your shoe free with a crowbar that's seen more action than a pirate's parrot. By midday, the bell hangs from a cedar crossbeam, its surface pitted like a teenager's complexion. Still voiceless, still waiting. You press your ear to it anyway, against all logic and basic metallurgy. The heat's gone, but something thrums beneath your cheek. Maybe the ghost of a note, maybe your imagination overdosing on forge fumes. He hands you a hammer the size of a toddler's arm. Strike true, he says, or maybe he just sneezed. Hard to tell with the accent, your swing's weaker than a decaf espresso. But the bell answers. A single note rips through the cove, lower than regret, darker than a bishop's socks. Seabirds scatter. Your eardrums file a formal complaint. The artisan nods like he's just won a bet with the devil. You half expect him to burst into flames, but he just spits into the sand and walks away. The bell keeps vibrating low and hungry until the tide swallows the sound whole. Somewhere inland, a dog starts howling. You pretend it's a coincidence. The ocean pretends it wasn't listening. The harbor reeks of fish guts, and tar your boots sink into wood still weeping sap. 86 sailors swarm the Breton cog like ants on honey, 53 meters of oak aching to prove itself. You note the ship's compass nailed to the mainmast, true north, aligned with a lodestone pride from Baltic bogs. Historians still argue whether medieval navigators lost more ships to faulty magnets or sheer arrogance. Ropes creak in protest as the first sail unfurls, hemp fibers groaning like a widow's lament. Salt crusts the rigging. You taste Atlantic tears from voyages past. A barefoot boy whistles a shanty through missing teeth. The boatswain backhands his shoulder. Whistle up a storm, you will. Below deck smells of pickled cabbage and dread. 40 hammocks sway empty between rat-gnawed beams. They've stowed 7 casks of Armagnac, 3 labeled for the captain's cabin. You smirk. Some traditions never drown. The bell hangs mute above the galley, its clapper wrapped in lamb's wool. Superstition claims silencing new bells wards off vengeful spirits. Modern divers found similar wool in the Mary Rose wreck, wrapped around a surgeon's saw. Coincidence? You eye the wool's frayed edge, suspect moths, not ghosts. Waves lick the hull gentle now, but the ship's surgeon mutters about mercury tides. His breath reeks of garlic and grave dirt. Mark me, steward's brat gets scurvy first. You count 11 boys under 15. None meet your gaze. At twilight, the captain burns juniper branches. Smoke coils around the bell like possessive hands. 16 crewmen cross themselves. One spits overboard. You remember a ribald joke about Baltic sailors and juniper-scented mistresses. Choke it down. Humor dies fast aboard a maiden voyage. The first night brings a breeze that touzles hair and common sense. 34 men gamble with bone dice behind the livestock pen. A spotted sow named Petunia watches judging. She'll outlive half them, you realize. Dawn exposes rigging glittering with frost, or is it salt? Your tongue decides. The bell's wool slips, iron brush bronze in a whisper. 86 heads snap upward. Even Petunia freezes. Silence. Then, the chuckle of water against keel. The cook resumes gutting cod. But you catch the boatswain pocketing a rusted nail talisman against bell-born omens. By noon, land shrinks to memory. The ship finds its rhythm roll and heave, creak and sigh. You lean over railings, counting 7 shades of blue. The bell sways patient as a hanged man waiting for its first true cry. Moonlight carves the waves into shattered glass. Your fingers trace Polaris through rigging shivering with cold. Bretons called it Morlake's needle true, north found where ocean meets myth. Historians still argue whether medieval seafarers spotted auroras this far south. You count 3 greenish flickers behind Orion's belt. The bell's shadow stretches across deck planks, a black tongue licking at sailors' heels. 13 men cluster near the livestock pen. Petunia's offspring now guard duty's dubious honor. Warmest post aboard, the helmsman jokes. The goat glares. You sidestep a puddle of moonlight, or is it engine grease from a century unborn? Can't tell anymore. Milky Way sprawls above like God's own fishing net. 19th century whalers swore it mirrored cod migration routes. Doesn't help tonight. 3 bells sound wooden clappers, not bronze. The wrapped bell sways in mocking silence. First, Mate Larson mutters about Danish star maps stained by mead and wishful thinking. His breath fogs a sextant's glass. Wrong latitude, he hisses. Always wrong. Cold seeps through your coat. Wool's no match for Atlantic scorn. You rub life into stiff fingers. Remember Welsh lore claiming frostbitten thumbs could predict storms. Test yours. Feels prickly. Ominously prickly. 16 constellations blur as clouds swallow Cassiopeia whole. You mentally recheck the Astronomica verses nailed below decks. Scholars will later find those pages smeared with cod liver oil, medieval footnotes. Tonight, just smudged stardust. A cabin boy hums off-key, something about mermaids trading kelp for sailors' teeth. The tune unravels as Petunia headbutts her trough. Nearby, 11 dice click like crab claws on stone. Someone loses a sock. Someone gains a lice colony. Balance. Winds shift. The bell's cradle groans. Lamb's wool slips another inch. 86 pairs of lungs hitch. Even the ship holds its breath. Nothing. Reef the foresail. Barks Larson. 5 men scramble like startled hermit crabs. You linger at the rail, salt crusting your eyelashes into makeshift prism. 9 waves below phosphorescent swirls. 10. 11. Counting's pointless when the sea's feeling poetic. Your tongue finds a half-remembered Norse rhyme, stars lie, whales spy. Or was it stars sigh, wrens die? Memories rotting faster than the salt pork stores. Dawn grays the eastern belly. Moonlight bleeds into nothing. Rigging, frost melts into the captain's prized beard. 18 ice droplets cling temporary jewels for a king of fools. The bell creaks, its iron heart shifting unseen beneath wool. You touch the mast, Splinters embed like future memories. Somewhere, a Baltic lodestone spins uselessly in its box. North's wherever the waves say it is now. Petunia's kid gnaws the bell rope, strands unravel like Atlantean gossip. No one stops him. Let the omen chew itself to shreds. Surgeon passes with garlic-scented verdict. Scurvy's got the cooper's apprentice. You glance at the boy, gums red as starved roses. His hands clutch a half-carved seal blubber, features grinning up at indifferent stars. Clouds recede, show Boötes dangling his too-bright kite. 5th century monks swore that constellations curve-matched Viking longship prows. You squint, maybe, if you're drunk enough. Bell's shadow shrinks, dawn's winning. Your boots stick to deck tar as you turn. The horizon flexes, a muscle readying to strike. Winds changing, muses Larson, though only the bell hears him. Its wool collar dangles by a thread now. Below, something in the deep clicks Morse code against the hull. You pretend not to notice. Stars never taught sailors mercy. Why start now? Rain needles your face. The first drops taste of forged iron and bad omens. Rigging whips into serpentine shapes. Larson's voice shreds against the gale. Secure the livestock. Petunia's kid bleats, a comic counterpoint to splintering wood. 17 men haul ropes. 19th century rigging laws required triple block tackles for storms like this. Fat lot of good it does now. Canvas explodes skyward, the torn foresail flaps like a murdered ghost. You grab a trailing line, palms burning through rot-lined gloves. Thunder cracks the horizon, the bell's wool shroud rips free, bronze flashes, a single spark in the wet chaos. Someone screams about St. Elmo's fire. Historians still argue whether medieval sailors mixed electric discharges with dragon's breath myths. Tonight, it's just physics with theatrics. Deck tilts, starboard barrels burst like overripe fruit. Salt pork bob in the scuppers. You slip, knee meeting a brass plaque commemorating the ship's unsinkable Baltic oak hull. Oops. 8 waves converge, black fists pounding the keel. The bell sways, its clapper strikes empty air. A dull bong resonates in your molars. Larson crosses himself with a rigging knife. 16th century Spanish coins nailed to the mast clink. Crew insisted they'd buy calm seas. Refund pending. Lightning forks. For one nauseating second, you see the storm's anatomy. Cloud strata like rotten teeth. A waterspout churning 2 miles east. 86 souls reduced to damp punctuation marks. Helms jammed. Shouts the wheelman, his beard frost-glued to the spokes. You lurch toward him, boots suctioned to the deck by Atlantic spit. The bell's shadow lunges, misses your heel by 3 knuckles width. Omen or optics? Who cares? Surgeon emerges, black bag leaking garlic tincture and despair. Broken arm in the forecastle. He yells. Adds under his breath, tourniquet's got more sense than the captain. 3 men wrestle a rogue cannon, carriage bolts sheared clean. It carves a splintered trench toward the hold. You dive, ribs meet railing. The bell chooses this moment to toll properly. Once, a sound that chews through storm noise like a bone saw. Silence. Even the waves hesitate. Your soaked shirt clings, suddenly aware of 1573 French maritime law requiring captains to carry 2 spare compasses. Not that it matters when the world's turned sideways. Petunia's kid hurtles past, hooves skidding on brine-slick planks. Lands in a coil of rope, riding the exact halfway point between tragedy and slapstick. You choke laugh, so does the cabin boy. The respite dies. A wave scores a direct hit, your left ear fills with icy November. When vision returns, the mainmasts at a 40-degree slump, Larson's carving chunks off the ship's figurehead, a mermaid now missing her nose. Sacrifice or stress relief. Someone's playing a concertina below decks, off-key jigs warping through soaked wood. A crewman vomits rhubarb stew into the bilge. Another quotes Revelations. Standard crisis playlist. Bell tolls again, no one's near it. Sound lodges in your sternum. Historians adore debating whether certain bronze alloys retain acoustic memories of their casting. Tonight's answer: shut up and hold on. Dawn's a myth now. The storms colonized time itself, each minute stretched into tendon-snapping labor. You tie a knot around a pumping station. Miss a finger by half an inch. Cheers erupt when the bilge pump belches. Range shifts to horizontal. The bell's suspension rope frays. Strands snap like overstrung cello notes. 85 men brace. 86. Wait, when did we lose one? Larson's at your elbow, brandy breath and rotten optimism. She'll hold, he rasps. Nods at the bell. Bad luck to sink before your debut, eh? His laugh becomes a cough, becomes a prayer. The next wave isn't a wave. It's the sea standing up to applaud. Planks rupture beneath your feet. The bell breaks free, arcs upward in a spray of green-black water. For a heartbeat, it's suspended, a bronze moon defying gravity. Then down, through, gone. The deck evaporates beneath you, salt water scrubs the world to nothing. Your last air bubble escapes as a perfect ring. It rises toward the bell's descending silhouette. They meet, pop, darkness, but not silence, never silence. Somewhere below, the bell tolls a third time. You swear it hums in F-sharp. Cold crushes your ribs before the salt does a fridge door slamming shut on the world. Your lungs scream for air that's now green-black and liquid. 17 pounds of wool drag you deeper. Victorian sailors sewed lead pellets into storm coats for stability. Worst weighted blanket ever. Sunlight fizzles above a yolk-yellow coin, shrinking to a pinprick. Below, the bell glints, its fall slowed by water's thick embrace. Historians still whisper about the Mary Rose's sinking, how Tudor seamen's tools were found clutched in drowned hands. You get it now. The need to hold something real. A shoe brushes your ear, Petunia's kid's hoof, still tangled in rope. It pirouettes downward, ghostly graceful beside the churning ship debris. Barrels vomit salt pork. A Bible pages itself open, psalms fluttering like dying minnows. Pressure builds in your sinuses. The bell tolls again. Water conducts sound better than air. That F-sharp now drills into your molars. You half expect dolphins to applaud. Instead, a conger eel oozes past. Its yawn reveals teeth like rusted nails. 30 feet down, your coat tears free. Lead pellets scatter. 19th century. Engineering, now fish playground bling. Lighter, you hover suspended between two hungers. Air above, answers below. The ship's carcass groans, masts snapping like celery sticks. 96 seconds since submersion. Your limbs leaden. The bell winks, its surface already crusting with salt crystals. Medieval founders believed bronze absorbed prayers during casting. Right now, it's drinking the ocean's worst secrets. A crate bursts, leather boots float upsole first. One pair drifts sideways, stuffed with love letters the purser never mailed. Ink bleeds blue, a Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, S name dissolving into Martha. You pocket a wax seal. Souvenir or bargaining chip. Depth charges your vision with hallucinations. The ship's figurehead, noseless mermaid, swims alongside. Her wooden lips move. Took you long enough, she mouths. You blink. She's just splintered pine. The bell hits bottom. Silt explodes in a slow-motion mushroom cloud. It lands upright. Of course, prideful even in ruin. Sand settles, reveals an anchor from a different wreck. 1804. HMS Pontchartrain. Mainwaring's mutiny. You snort bubbles. 2 shipwrecks holding hands in the dark. Something tickles your wrist. Ship's log pages swirling like drunk butterflies. November 3rd entry. Larson's eczema flares. Bought 3 lemon compresses in Naples. You let it go. History's better off without that headline. Your toes tap the seabed. Cold numbs the cuts. 14 fathoms. 1920s divers reported whistling buoys near wreck sites. Metal groans misheard as ghostly music. Nope, it's just the bell. Its clapper swaying in a current you can't feel. Teeth chatter. Hypothermia's joke set up. The body stops shivering first, then the mind. You count sinkable things. Cannons, hope. The surgeon's leather bag bloating like a dead fish. A glint watch chain slithering through silt. 1883 Tiffany & Co. Engraved for my beloved monster. Fancy. You wind it around your wrist. Time's irrelevant here anyway. Light dims. Consciousness frays. The bell gleams. One last invitation. You kick toward it, legs heavy as betrayal. Touch the rim. Bronze bites colder than ice. Verdigris flakes off, reveals an inscription. Sound me and see. Historians still bicker over whether sailors stored bone needles in bell clappers for luck. You pick at the crust. Nothing but ancient barnacle glue. Lungs burn. Darkness creeps inward. The bell hums vibrations massaging your palm. Stay, it thrums, stay. You shake your head. Bubbles protest. Then the ascent. Your body betrays you, kicks upward without consent. The bell shrinks, a diminishing O in the murk. Salt water blurs the line between tears and ocean. Sunlight stabs your eyes. You breach, gasping in air that smells of lost chances. Waves slap your face. No ship, no bell, just an albatross circling, its cry a perfect F-sharp. Treading water, you count survivors. 5 gulls, 1 boot, the pocketed wax seal, and the hum etched into your bones like ship graffiti. You float. The current nudges northeast. Somewhere below, silt blankets the bell, its voice smothered for 87,000 nights. But salt preserves what air destroys, even memory, especially promises. The albatross dives emerges with a bloated sausage from the sunken provisions. It gulps. You laugh, a hoarse bark that sends the bird flapping. Tomorrow's problem. Explaining this to the insurance adjusters. Tonight's triumph. Matching the bell's silence. Mostly, the sea claims its throne. You plunge back 19 years later into water so cold it erases your divorce, your mortgage, your adult daughter's middle name. A tourist trap dive company sold this as soul cleansing. Their brochure didn't mention hypothermia. Sunlight stalls at 30 feet. Below, silhouettes twist into new shapes. Coral encrusts the ship's ribs, a cathedral built by polyps with PhDs in real estate. Spanish galleons in the Caribbean became reefs in under a decade. This Breton wreck took 73 years. Overachievers, a goby fish darts through what was the captain's quarters, its neon scales mocking the rust. You hover near a porthole. Something moves inside. Not a ghost, a hermit crab hauling its stolen shell through algae curtains. The 1986 Contiki expedition log mentions crabs nesting in an old diving bell. Yours prefers prime real estate. The bell sits where it fell, now a coral-encrusted mushroom cap. Tubeworms crown its rim, feathery tendrils snagging plankton like suburban dads grillside. You sweep a flashlight, bronze peeks through in thumbprint patches. Historians still argue whether coral preserves wrecks or just prettifies decay. Both, maybe. Death here wears sequins. Pressure squeezes your temples. You bite the regulator, rubber taste blending with salt. A decorator crab shuffles past, junk jewelry glued to its shell. Bottle cap, fish hook, pilot bread cracker still legible. Glutton, you mouth. Bubbles judge you harder than your ex ever did. The bell's clapper sways, not from currents. A tasseled wobbegong shark brushes it while vacuuming shrimp off the mast. No sound, of course. Ocean's too polite to eavesdrop. You tap the bell's flank, gloved knuckles sparking bioluminescent plankton. Green trails linger. Underwater fireflies. Nemon vases bloom near the anchor, translucent trumpets that retract at your shadow. 19th century sailors called them siren wineglasses. No one knows why. You do. They look ready to shatter at the first B-flat. Your dive computer blinks. 47 minutes down. Nitrogen's getting chatty. You fin toward the bell, its surface cratered by phoronid worms. One resembles a lowercase EA signature. Wishful thinking. You sketch it on your wrist slate. Later's problem. The crab returns, this time scaling the bell's crown. Its left claw taps the apex. Once, twice. No echo. It deflates, clattering down to sulk in a beer bottle. Maritime museums display ghost bells that occasionally toll. You're starting to believe. A hand fan drifts by, ivory slats still strung with thread. 1743 court fashion. Now a parrotfish chew toy. Nearby, a teacup half buried in sand. Barnacles grip its handle. They'll outlive you. They'll outlive tick-tock. Shadows elongate. Dive lights carve the wreck into a puppet show. The bell's coral beard sways, pink tips grazing your mask. You inhale synthetic air that tastes of dentist offices. Exhale floaty silver orbs. For heartbeat, you're a dragon. The crab's back, clutching a Roman coin. Lepsis magna mint. 7th century, probably dropped by a Victorian collector showing off. You let it keep the treasure. Everyone needs a party trick. Cold seeps through your wetsuit. Knees ache. You pivot, kicking up silt that swirls like cheap confetti. The bell shrinks behind you, its silence, now a third passenger on the ascent. Slow. Always slow. Sun pierces the surface, ripples warping it into a funhouse mirror. You breach into noise, seagulls, jet skis, a kid shrieking about sea lice. Salt crusts your lips. The bell's hum lives in your molars, vibrating when helicopters pass. Boat crew high-fives you. They don't ask about the slates scribbled e-lunch smells of microwaved lasagna and regret. You lean overboard, dripping on a jellyfish. It pulses, indifferent. That night, hotel AC drones like ship engines. You sketch the bell's worm-carved E on a napkin. It matches the first letter of your ex's hometown. Coincidence has to be. Sleep comes via Bourbon dreams, full of choral syllables, even autocorrect can't fix. Bourbon dreams drag you under deeper than any dive tank could. Your hotel sheets become kelp strands, the ACs rattle, morphing into ship rigging. That damned E glows on the ceiling, a neon scar in the dark. You're back at the wreck, without suiting up, lungs fine. Convenient. Moonlight bleeds through 80 feet of ocean, a nightlight for the abyss. The bell floats now, hovering above its coral throne, like a UFO mid-abduction. Half its incrustations have fallen away, revealing pitted bronze, the color of dried blood. A moray eel coils through the bell's mouth, its yellow eyes tracking you. Shoo, you mouth. It yawns, needle teeth glinting. Scientists found a Roman-era shipwreck near Sicily, with live oysters still clinging to its hull. You wonder if they yawned at archaeologists too. Currents twist around your ankles, carrying voices. Not words, the acoustic shadow of words. Like hearing a party through hotel walls. Breton sailors used dried shark liver oil for lamp fuel. The smell allegedly summoned storm spirits. You catch whiffs of rancid butter. Coincidence, probably. The moray retreats. You drift closer, fingertips grazing cold metal. No gloves this time. The bell thrums, a subsonic buzz that makes your fillings ache. Historians still argue whether deep-sea pressure warps bronze into natural resonators. You vote yes, your molars agree. Something glitters below. Coins. You swoop down, fingers closing around a zipper tab. 1970s Levi's. Classic. Nearby, a porcelain head, its wig of tube worms swaying. Marie Antoinette's court popularized wig boxes for travel. This one clearly missed the memo. The bell's hum shifts, pitch, an underwater didgeridoo. Luminescent jellyfish pulse in sync. Your ribcage vibrates. It's like being hugged by a subwoofer. A decorator crab scuttles past, manta ray carcass draped over its shell like a cape. Overachiever. You circle the bell's crown, spot new etchings beneath the crud. Not worms, runes. Blisters form on your thumb from rubbing. 17th century. Breton mariners carved sea spells into their tidal gauges. This looks like a shopping list. Eggs, pitch, 3 yards hemp, bribe for customs. The voices return closer now. Masculine, stressed, arguing about cabbage taxation. Your spine tingles. In 1985, salvagers reported hearing faint conversations near the Lusitania's telegraph, hours after leaving the site. You mentally add ghost small talk to your list of dive hazards. Pressure builds behind your eyes. You kick upward, chest tight. The bell recedes below a shrinking medallion. That E winks from its surface, now joined by an MM. Emergency. Emma, your lungs burn despite dream logic. You breach into rotten air, a moonlit sea replaced by hotel carpet. The clock glows 3:17 a.m. Tide chart burned into your cornea. Your sketchpad lies open, the E now part of memento mori. Cheery. The minibars, tiny bourbon tastes of poor decisions. Outside, waves chant the same 3 syllables. Could be let me in. Could be laundry day. Salt crusts the window. You scratch a rune from the bell. It matches the Wi-Fi password, creepy or cheap IT. Sleep ambushes you mid-sip. This time, the dream starts with teeth. A shark's jawbone gate, each tooth a carved ivory key. Polynesian navigators used shark vertebrae to predict weather. You're pretty sure this isn't the approved method. The bell waits beyond, clean now, swinging gently in empty water. No coral, no crabs. Its clapper gleams like fresh honey. You inhale, drowning in the scent of lemongrass and gunpowder. Breton foundries added rosemary to molten bronze for luck. Smells like a roast dinner at a shooting range. Voices erupt crisp as AM radio. Reef the topsails before quartermasters skimming the rum. The bell's lip vibrates, spitting bubbles that pop into words. Mooring lines. Saints preserve. You lunge, catching one. It dissolves, leaving brine in your palm. Your thrashing knees meet hotel sheets. Dawn stains the room piss yellow. The sketchpad shows new additions, a bell curve, a shark tooth, the number 73 circled thrice. Your dive watch beeps, tide window opens in 11 minutes. The boat crew notices your bloodshot eyes, says nothing. Smart. You backroll overboard, the shock of cold, merciful this time. Down you sink, past the squid ink layer, where light goes to die. The bell there, but different. Coral glows faintly blue, activated by your approach. Science says bioluminescent algae. Your panic says trap. You hover, ears popping. The voices now speak modern French. Merdla Wi-Fi ghosts upgraded. A flashlight beam catches the E and M, now clearly part of a Murad. Emerald. The Emerald sank off St. Malo in 1744. Crew vanished. Historians still argue whether it was storms or mutiny. You're guessing a Wi-Fi curse. Your gloved hand rests on the bell. It thrums 2 short pulses. A heartbeat. Yours quickens. 3 pulses. 4. The crab appears, dropping a tarnished earbud in your palm. You decline politely. When the voices return, they're singing. Sea shanties meets auto-tune. A seal slinks past, covering its ears. You grin around the regulator. 9 minutes of air left. The bell's mouth stays shut, but its teeth hum a secret against your palm. Your glove squeals across the bell's crusted surface, a chalkboard screech that liquefies your knees. Bioluminescent algae flares in protest, the whole wreck blushing electric blue. 18th century Breton foundries cast bells with a lead tin alloy for throat clarity. This one's roaring like a karaoke demon. 3 quick taps, a SOS pulse against your palm. The crab reappears, now waving a barnacle-crusted AirPod. You shake your head, persistent little salvage dealer. It shrugs, mantling the tech like a hermit crab claiming a soda can. Maritime archaeologists once found a perfectly preserved Game Boy in a 1990s yacht wreck. You make a mental note to gift this crustacean a waterproof playlist. Pressure crushes your sinuses. 9 minutes of air left. The bell's emerald engraving winks through peeling grime. Emeralds once lined its inner rim, prized by Breton captains for calming angry tides. All gone now. Stolen by eels or tax collectors. You pry off a flake of corrosion. Beneath, the scratch marks of frantic fingernails. Not SOS. SOE. Saints are end. A chill slithers down your spine. Breton sailors carved emergency prayers into metal when doom felt inevitable. This looks recent. Very recent. The crab taps your oxygen gauge, an aquatic backseat driver. 5 minutes. Your flashlight beam catches something wedged in the bell's throat. A leather pouch, bloated shut. 17 stitches hold it closed, each thread fused to the bronze by time. Knife work underwater feels like trying to sign a check during an earthquake. The pouch bursts, seeds spill out. Lentils. Historians still debate whether Breton ships stockpiled legumes for food or ritual coin substitutes. You're guessing someone owed the cook 3 frazzled IOU lentils. The bell shudders its clapper, swinging wildly without wind. Sound waves punch your ribcage. You bite the regulator, mouth flooded with the taste of burnt caramel. Breton smelters added sugarcane ash to molten bronze for sweetness. Tastes like Halloween candy left in a forge. 4 minutes. The crab shoves the air pod into a crevice. Wisdom pearls for future divers. Your glove tears on a jagged rune. Copper-rich bronze was believed to trap a ship's final moments. Marketing gimmick until your vision ripples. Men's faces surge into view, sun-cracked lips mouthing prayers. A deck tilting at nightmare angles, the captain's wig askew, strands of human hair stitched between horsehair curls. Modern historians reconstructed those wigs using dental floss budgets. You're suddenly grateful for neoprene. The vision seizes, replaced by searing white light from above. A submersible's robotic arm descends, 6-fingered and glowing. Your gut twists. Last week's news mentioned billionaire time capsules being dumped near protected wrecks. This one's blasting Lady Gaga. 2 minutes. You kick upward, keep the bell in view. Its engravings blaze, every rune leaking sourceless amber light. Breton lighthouse mirrors, amplified sunrise beams to guide ships. This feels personal, a spotlight for your retreat. The crab salutes with its AirPod claw as you ascend. Your chest screams, tasting tin and regret. That muted thud from below, the bell tolling once in your wake. Wrong note for morning. Perfect pitch for invitation. You breach gasping raindrops, tattooing the surface. The crew hauls you up, laughing about mermaid lag. Their smile lines deepen when you unclench your fist, 17 barnacled lentils glued to your palm. One sports a tiny carved cross, or is it a sword? Back on the boat, toweling off brine and existential dread, you notice new marks. Not the bell's runes. Charger ports. A USB-C shaped welt throbs on your wrist, the crab's final gift, or a warning about unlicensed Apple resellers. Sleep claims you before the shower's warm. This time, the dream sea, choked with plastic. The bell floats upside down, a makeshift life raft. 3 sharks circle. iPads strapped to their dorsal fins. Notification. Bubbles pop endlessly. Storm alert 1744 unread. You wake parched. The hotel's laminated tide chart prickling your skin. Photos exist of the Emerad's final port stop. Sailors grinning beneath a stormy sky. Historians still argue whether those clouds were cumulonimbus or cannon smoke. Foreheads look dry in the sepia print. That's your only clue. Moonlight bleeds through blinds. Same sickly E glowing on the ceiling. When did it become an M? Your finger traces the fresh curve, cold as deep water. Vasco da Gama's crew nailed horseshoes to masts for wind grip. You're pretty sure this curse needs an electrician. The minibars, whiskey burns going down. Salt water leaks from the AC vent, or is that your eyes? Doesn't matter. On the desk, 17 lentils form a shaky arrow pointing seaward. The 18th winks from the carpet, tarnished side up. Tomorrow's dive waiver waits unsigned. Your pen rolls toward the bathroom, a coward's retreat. The crab was right. Should have taken the damn AirPod. The conservator's Brillo pad rasps, like a guilty conscience, each scrub flaking off centuries of oceanic lies. Verdigris snow drifts into evidence bags labeled Marian's Wrath, 1683-2024. You count 37 flakes before lunch. Each crusted green curl contains a sailor's name. Breton foundry records show 39 crewmen boarded the Marian. 2 flakes remain missing. 2 stories still salted away. Glue guns hiss. Teen interns reconstruct the bell's fractured crown with adhesive from endangered sea snails. It's ethical. The head conservator claims her earrings shaped like Elizabethan puke buckets. Tudor sailors believed vomit vessels scared off sea hags. Modern interns just want health care. Your fingertips hover over exposed bronze, cool despite the UV lamps. 18th century craftsmen scored zodiac signs into bell interiors to align with celestial tides. This one's Leo glyph resembles a hungover house cat. A joke, a mistake. The long-dead smith smirks through patina. One intern sneezes his latte, spraying across a data sheet. Barnacle growth, rate versus 17th century Breton tax records. Scholars still debate whether ship captains overreported barnacle harvests to evade trade tariffs. You nod solemnly, recognizing the ancient art of creative accounting. The bell's clapper lies in quarantine, infested with coral DNA that defies taxonomy. Last week, it sprouted something between a sea lily and a croissant. Security footage shows janitors taking clandestine bites. At midnight, alone with the exhibit, you lick the display glass. Salt. Always salt. Breton ships carried triple the legal salt limit to preserve cod or bodies. The brass plaque claims otherwise. Maritime culture enthusiast, it calls you. Liar. Vibration hums through your shoes, subway trains. The bell's resonance. German engineers once embedded church bells with tuning forks to dual rival towns' carillons. This hum tastes different, like a throat clearing before confession. Your USB-C scar itches, charging port to nowhere. The museum's interactive experience, VR headset, fits too snugly over it. Virtual dolphins glitch through the bell, rendering it a pixelated ghost. You prefer the crab's bootleg AirPod empire. 3 AM custodians wax floors to Celine Dion. You waltz with the bell's shadow, its silhouette a groggy giant. Your phone dies mid-Shazam. 17% battery becomes a spinning wheel of doom. Apple Genius bars lack wards against nautical hexes. Dawn leaks through stained glass, bloodshot sunlight. The night watchman coughs. They sing. He says coffee steaming from his world's okayest dad mug. Last month, he identified a mermaid's femur in the cafeteria clam chowder. HR remains unconvinced. Final polish day. The bell gleams like a bad omen. Visitors will Instagram its curves, ignoring the suture where time split open. You pocket a verdigris flake labeled Unknown Sailor 14. His name curls safe against your ribs, Antine. The gala ribbon snaps, scissors trembling in a curator's grip. Champagne bubbles mimic underwater breath. You escape to the loading dock, the Belle's new home visible through the alley. Its shadow stretches toward the harbor, twisted into a sailor's knot. Someone's left a ziplock of lentils on your windshield. 17, plus a new recruit. Your key fob won't click. The bell tolls once through museum walls, a sound felt more than heard. Teeth rattling, wallet emptying, streetlights flicker off. The bell's glow bleeds into your car's cup holders, illuminating a USB port crusted with salt. You plug in your phone. It survives. For now, the crab would be proud or furious. Hard to tell with arthropods. Rain drums the roof, each drop whispering Antine, Antine, Antine. GPS maps show the highway dissolving. Red taillights smudge into bioluminescent trails. Your engine purrs, or is that the bell? 18th century cruise greased axles with cod liver oil. You're running on something older. Home smells of mildew and bad decisions. The verdigris flake unfolds on your tongue, briny, bitter, alive. Breton widows swallowed these to hear their husband's final words. Yours taste like static and a man humming off-key. Sleep comes coated in epoxy resin. Dreams of the conservators snail its shell, vibrating with stolen bell tunes. Screenshot notifications swarm your late-night visitor, Marion's bell cam. You swipe left on history. Delete, delete, delete. 8:07 a.m. NPR reports a stolen Brillo pad collection. You stir honey into tea, watch amber swirls mimic the bell's engravings. The Marion's Manifest listed honey casks as liquid compasses. North tastes like clover. South, blood orange. Lost tastes like this cheap supermarket blend. Your reflection shows new streaks of green in the hair. The USB-C scar pulses like a telltale heart. At Lowe's, paint samples whisper patina dream, Atlantis midnight, regret. You choose eggshell. The bell laughs through the primer. Night shift again. The exhibit's velvet rope parts like kelp. Touch the bronze just once. Verdigris seeps into your fingerprints. One flakes off Sailor 14, Anton Leblanc. His laughter echoes through the gift shop snow globes. Welcome aboard, the bell hums. Watch your step. Security cameras blink red mechanical fireflies mapping your orbit around the glass case. Air conditioning units click off. The bell's shadow stretches toward you. 3 a.m. elongate. You press your forehead to cold bronze. Beneath the patina, Egyptian furnaces where 5th century metalworkers cooled molten metal with date wine. Cleopatra, commissioner of Alexandria's lighthouse, once ordered 36 bronze bells to warn ships of shallows. None survived Rome's bonfires. Your breath fogs the glass. A single water droplet carves a path through months of Windex. Nitrogen narcosis without the ocean. That's museum night shifts. Your phone buzzes. Supersonic ping from 2016. The Nokia brick in your bag outlasted 6 smartphones and the Habsburg Empire. The bell hums, not through air, through jawbone. Its vibration matches the museum's sub-basement generator. Dutch engineers built it to power a crypto mine in 2019. Now it wheezes through another stolen purpose, same as the bell, same as you. You circle the display. Iron filings from the Marion's hull pattern the floor like inverse stars. 17 steps to complete the constellation, 19 if you drag your feet. Historians still argue whether ancient bell founders intentionally tuned their creations to summon storms. Tonight's experiment: touch the plaque's Latin engraving. Tempus mutat nos. Bullshit. You've met time. It's a procrastinator with commitment issues. Silence thickens. Even the gift shop's dyspeptic sloth plush stops snoring. Then the clapper moves. No wind. No earthquake. Just a quarter-inch swing that rewrites physics. 18th century, Breton sailors swore bells rang spontaneously before whale sightings. Marine biologists blame infrasound. Your kidneys blame Starbucks. Midnight shift special. The security guard's chair squeaks, leather exhaling. He's asleep beneath a 1997 Spice Girls poster. Last month, he told you Roman concrete repair crews mixed volcanic ash with goat hair. The Parthenon's basically a crunchy perm. His breath smells of gas station, sushi, and existential dread. You press your palm to the glass. Cold bleeds through. 16th century monks wrote hymns about bronze skin, the living membrane between metal and prayer. Your fingertips tingle. The USB-C scar pulses like a misfiring lighthouse. Antique clocks in the horology wing strike 3:15. All 8 of them wrong. A spider descends from the bell's lip, silk thread glinting under exit signs. Its abdomen flashes iridescent green. Not a spider. A sea walnut, an invasive ctenophore that hitchhiked from the Sargasso Sea in the Marion's ballast tanks. Now running a tiny surveillance state above the curator's office. Your walkie-talkie crackles dead air. Someone's transmitting button jammed. Portuguese sailors called this Vozes do Abismo, voices from the deep. You answer static with static. The bell answers with another hum. Lower this time. Rib rattling. Above the exit, security camera 14 swivels away. Deliberate, obedient. Muffled footsteps ripple through air vents. Not yours, not the guards. The Marion's manifest lists 86. You've counted 87 shadows in the north wing all week. Floorboards creak. Victorian era oak grown from acorns planted by Cardinal Wolsey's gardener. Tudor dendrochronology feels irrelevant when something licks your ear. You spin. Nothing but the bell's reflection warped and winking. The emergency exit sign flickers. Green exit becomes TIXC for 3 arrhythmic seconds. Archaeologists found that typo carved into Pompeii's brothel walls. Classic Roman graffiti. Classic museum wiring. You check your 6. Find 19 dental mirrors, angled to reflect nothing. A narcissist's panopticon. Dawn's first traffic helicopters thrum, suburban moms filming the museum roof. Last trespasser swore she saw a bronze jellyfish up there. Security footage shows a My Chemical Romance umbrella caught in HVAC gears. You check the live feed anyway. Grainy pixels form a smile where none exists. The bell's clapper sways again, a metronome counting stolen time. You mouth the sailor names from lunch. Antin, Felix, Jean-Claude. The glass fogs with ghosts. Maritime law required 1 bell per 80 souls. The Marion carried 39. The math never balanced. Your phone dies, final spark of 3%. The Nokia sits heavy in your pocket, indestructible fossil. Charging cord wraps around your wrist like a naval hawser. Cold air funnels into the hall exit, propped open with a janitor's sponge. The bell's hum sharpens, vibration travels up your spinal column. Linguists found 15th century Breton carvings describing bronze resonance as the tongue of drowned cities. The alarm panel beeps, Zone 14 disabled. Shadows congeal near the Ming vase collection. Security, camera 14, spins wildly, lens cracked. This feels less like a heist and more like a biopsy. The bell's patina flakes, green snow collecting at your soles. You hear it then, not a toll, a vowel. Bronze resonance shaping air into language. Your molars buzz. Fillings decode the message. Night is a hull. Carry me deeper. The guard snores. Spice girls smile. Camera 14's lead winks red. Red, red. Sunrise licks the museum steps. School buses disgorge 4th graders in neon safety vests. The guard rubs garlicky. Eyes Spice Girls, now daylight dimmed. You pocket the Nokia, its snake game still frozen where the Leviathan breached. A girl breaks formation, pigtails swinging, palm slapping the bell's display case. Her name tag reads Elodie. 17 kids shout in the mummy wing. She tilts her head. Bronze reflections ripple across her irises. Historians agree Bronze Age metalworkers added tin to silence spirit voices in their creations. Elodie's fingers smudge the plaque, Bourdon de la Marion, 1743 AD. The tour guide drones 300-year-old shipwreck, salt preservation, important historical context. You know better. The bell's shadow twitches 2 millimeters southwest. Exactly the distance a coffin shifts during lunar perigee. Elodie yawns, upper molars glint with orthodontic glitter. The yawn stretches 4, 5, 6 seconds until her uvula vibrates at 6.8 Hz. Your fillings ache. Air molecules dance the Macarena. In 2008, acousticians proved the Liberty Bell's crack amidst a perfect B-flat when stroked with owl feathers. This hums sharper, a dental drill serenading plaque. Elodie leans closer, her breath patterns the glass with candy-scented fog. 7th century Persian poets described bronze resonance as the gasp between death and godhood. Textbook ASMR. The class moves on, shrieking toward shrunken heads. Elodie lingers, one ked sneaker, tracing floor tiles from Henry VII's Nonsuch Palace. Her pinky finger finds the exhibit's lone bullet hole, a 1945 celebratory gunshot by homesick GIs. Museum staff quit polishing it after 7 attempts. Patina of victory. They shrugged. It's sleepy, she announces. No one listening. Caesar's bust leers. The guard texts his Uber Eats order 5-star pad C, yo extra MSG. You count the bell's verdigris flakes. 18, since Tuesday, each shaped like sailor tattoos. Elodie crouches, nose to nose with the clapper. Grand Pier's clock made that noise before Mama's accident. Her knees leave grape-flavored lip smacker stains on marble. 17th century foundry logs mention child warmth reviving cold-cast bronze. A myth the Victoria and Albert Museum tested with heat lamps in 1999. Inconclusive results. The clapper swings silent. 2 centimeters. 5. 10. Ultrasound waves pummel your spleen. Elodie grins, gap-toothed, as her barrette clatters to the floor. 316 L surgical steel, non-magnetic. Yet it skitters toward the case like iron filings. Madame says ghosts are just history farts. She blows bangs off her forehead. Particles align in the static. You recall the Marian's carpenter, Guillaume Leblanc, whose journal described polishing the bell with his daughter's hair ribbon. Sank with the ship. Sank with 86. Sank with 87. School chaperones gossip about melatonin doses, organic versus synthetic. Elodie presses both hands against glass, a Vitruvian spread. Tectonic plates groan. Madrid's Archaeology Museum reported similar tremors when toddlers touched Visigoth breastplates. 2003 incident buried in maintenance logs. The case's humidity sensor flatlines. Digital readout flashing, letter 1697, letter 1694, letter 1685. Elder Futhark runes for joy and ice. Probably a coincidence. Probably Cherokee Point Elementary's Wi-Fi interfering. Elodie's elbows dimple weight shifting as museum spotlights flare 30% brighter. Breaker box buzzes Frere Jacques in Morse code. Time for lunch. The guide's voice cracks puberty roulette. Elodie ignores it, forehead now resting against bronze. Her heartbeat thumps through the glass, double time, triple quadruple. Cardiac arrhythmia meets Renaissance metallurgy. Scholars still debate if Mediceera foundries added literal heartbeats to ceremonial bells. Rat carcasses in the alloy remain inconclusive. Your phone resurrects 3% charge to film vertical video. Elodie's yawn returns, jaw unhinging, abnormally wide. A spider descends behind her same tenaphore from last night, legs forming occult fractals. GarageBand ringtones harmonize with the bell's infrasound. Security camera 14 rotates, gasket squealing like butchered hogs. The clapper strikes. Silence first. Pressure differential sucks an origami crane into the ventilation shaft. Then noise. 18 tons of cathedral bells crammed into a tin can. Elodie laughs, her uvula fluttering like moth wings. Glass stays intact. One lychee jelly bean melts through the exhibit floor. Mammon hears it too. She licks plaque residue, vanilla chapstick, and lead oxide. French Maritime Archives list 14 children born aboard the Marion, all stillbirths. All unnamed. Elodie skips toward the cafeteria, untied laces slapping linoleum. The bell's shadow detaches, slipping into her backpack. 2 almond joy wrappers fall, crinkling into nautical charts of St. Malo Harbor. You filter coffee through last night's socks. Arabica meets foot, sweat meets enlightenment. The guard's leftover gas station. Sushi regenerates. Salmonella cultures composing their memoirs. Afternoon sun gilds the exit. School buses morph into yellow blurs. You check the case. Elodie's palm print glows faintly. Thermographic, spiritual, caramel residue. Tomorrow's problem. Linguists identified 9 unknown alphabets in the patina this morning. The director cancels your vacation. Again. Night falls. The Nokia dies mid-snake. Camera 14 watches Elodie's house, 12 miles west, through suburban light pollution. Her bedroom window flickers. Something hums a lullaby older overtones than bronze. Floor tiles squelch beneath your boots. Suddenly tide pools. Fluorescent lights warp into bioluminescent plankton. Your Apple Watch flatlines. Its ECG tracing wave patterns from the Bay of Biscay circa 1743. Historians know Phoenician traders navigated using Polaris, but your Yorta now thrums to older stars. Elodie's melted jelly bean becomes a compass rose, guiding you past the no admittance door. The janitor's closet smells of Clorox and kelp. Mops sway like rigging. You half expect barnacles on their handles. 14th century shipwrights believed brine could cure gangrene. The bell's hum suggests they weren't entirely wrong. Your left pupil dilates, salt stinging, as floor plans rearrange into ship timbers. Disinfectant puddles reflect mizzen masts. That you're getting warmer childhood game. Except the prize is cirrhosis and a sailor's knot tattoo. The thermostat drops 5 degrees per step. Your breath crystallizes into 90% nacl. The shadow from Elodie's backpack slithers ahead. Clapper's pendulum twin. Renaissance apothecaries, ground mummy, remains into ink for love letters. This darkness stains deeper. Your phone revives. 1% battery. Illuminating a QR code carved in 1588 Armada oak. It links to a GeoCities site about Atlantis dentistry. Keypad beeps morph into foghorn blasts. Maintenance elevators never descended this slow. The cables must be growing gills. You pass B2, B3, B7, B12. Sub-basement access requires a retinal scan, or in your case, cupcake-smeared security badges from the staff Christmas party. The clapper accelerates. Dentistry, drill, meets Tibetan singing bowl. Humidity fuses your shirt to solar plexus scars. 16th century Venetian glassmakers could spin vessels thinner than amniotic sacs. The bell's vibrations threaten similar fragility. Your molars ache where childhood fillings once lived mercury, swapping war stories with bronze. A fire exit sign blinks abandoned ship in Morse. Historians still argue whether Viking sunstones were navigation tools or bladder stones from particularly unlucky ravens. You choose option C. The glowing exit arrow now points diagonally into drywall. Your shoes dissolve, first toes squishing into tar-black salt marsh. Then belt buckle, oxidizing into a pilgrim's clasp. The wall splits, cold seawater licking your transformed ankles. Elodie's giggle echoes through pipes older than sewer systems. 18th century surgeons prescribed tidal immersion for madness. The bell approves. Hands grasp at walls, fingernails scraping patterns from the Marion's hull. Splinters embed under cuticles. DNA tests would show 60% human, 40% shipworm. The clapper's shadow entwines your wrist, pulse now synced to spring tides in St. Malo. 23 steps down becomes 23 fathoms deep. Light filters through imagined portholes, each beam carrying specks of 1743 dust. Your lungs memorize the rhythm. 7-second inhale, 13-second exhale, same as pearl divers from forgotten atolls. The emergency sprinkler system coughs brackish liquid tastes of rationed grog and betrayal. A vending machine glows ahead, Snickers bars, replaced with hardtack and citrus peels. You insert 1972 Eisenhower dollars. The coin slot drips bright green verdigris. 16th century miners believed cave moss could transmute copper to gold. The machine dispenses salt-bleached mackerel bones. Instead, the shadow clapper strikes your spine vertebrae, humming G7 hash. Security monitors show 10% battery. 9, 8, yet time stamps roll backward. 3, 17 a.m. tide tables whisper high tide in your capillaries. Scholars burned 3 popes debating whether bells dream when silent. Their ashes later used to polish church carillons. Floor gratings warp into companionway stairs. Each step creaks the Marion's death rattle cannons, shifting in their sleep below decks. Your phone finally dies, its goodbye vibration matching the bell's forbidden frequency. 300 years of barnacles crunch underfoot, segmented like a lobster's esophagus. The clapper stills, your eardrums bulge, with diesel fumes from phantom engines. Elodie's shadow swims through wall cavities, a porpoise-child hybrid nibbling on Ethernet cables. You press palms to the final bulkhead, paint blisters forming longitude lines. Madrid to Portsmouth, Portsmouth to the abyss. Your sternum cracks open, ribs sprouting into a captain's wheel. The bell's voice nestles where your heart once beat, all 4 chambers, now tidal estuaries. Last week's lunch, gas station taquitos, becomes 86 sailors' last meal. Historians transcribed their final letters, but none mentioned the bell's hunger. air ducts, Howl Cape horn genealogies. Light switches birth anglerfish larvae. You turn toward surface thoughts, Christmas bonuses, overdue library books, but they dissolve into ballast stones. The clapper swings again. No chain, no choice, no chocolate coating this maritime metaphor. One breath left, carbon dioxide mingling with 3 centuries of trapped sighs. The bulkhead splits. Cold brine kisses your salt-rotten teeth. Somewhere above, Elodie licks lychee residue from exhibit glass. Somewhere below, Guillaume Leblanc's daughter hums in perfect resonance. You step into the sound, streetlights gutter like failing vigil candles, ceramic insulators weeping black tears. Your heel finds a storm drain, its bars bent into Celtic knots no modern welder could replicate. 12 paces back, the museum's silhouette dissolves into starless void. 16th century Nuremberg laws required householders to hang lanterns after curfew. Tonight's darkness feels older. Pavement morphs underfoot, asphalt giving way to smugglers' cobblestones worn smooth by salt boots. No moon, but your shadow stretches 10 feet of sailor's stride. A 1944 UFO report from Portland describes fog forming perfect musical staves. The air tonight hums with similar ambition. Bare toes curl around what might be a fossilized horseshoe or a corset stay tossed from some long-wrecked pleasure barge. Storefronts melt bakery, becomes chandlery, becomes alchemist's den selling bottled squalls. Your Apple Watch zaps your wrist. It's been casting depth readings for Dover's sea floor since 2:17 a.m. Left turn alley reeks of low tide and diesel exhaust from unseen trucks. Historians still argue whether Alexander's tomb was mapped using resonance echoes. The single note ahead suggests somebody passed that exam. Your earlobe freezes, frost forming patterns like navigational charts from Cook's third voyage. Gravity shifts. You're now walking parallel to rooftops. A stray cat's eyes flash harbormaster green. Its collar reads BT 1631, same as a vanished Baltic trade ship. 3 acorns roll downhill, becoming iron shot from the Marion's rusted cannons in your backpack's phantom weight. A traffic light blinks only in ultraviolet. Your fillings ache, interpreting its Morse code. 17th century Dresdeners believed midnight crossroads revealed one's shadow crimes. Yours now wears a tricorn hat. The note blooms again, vibrating your molars into tuning forks. Taste buds report high salinity, NaCl, with hints of Stockholm tar. Fire escape ladders descend like boarding planks beckoning, with false promises of dry land. Your knee remembers that snapped rigging rope from Section 4. Old injuries sing sea shanties tonight. 8% of Georgian-era lighthouse keepers went mad studying wave patterns. Your corneas now stipple with their spiral notebooks. A manhole cover spins, revealing not sewers, but mermaid market stalls below. Hawkers offer bioluminescent halfpennies and compasses balanced with siren teeth. You decline, though your liver pulses like it remembers buying here before. 18th century London had taverns where sailors pawned shadows. Does the QR code on your wrist scan as currency? Lungs calibrate to air thick with extinguished wicks, particulates of whale oil and regret. Dental records would show 5 fillings cracked into nautical mile markers. The hum congeals into words, not French or Breton, but the gurgle pitch of water through a sinking brig's scuppers. Your shadow peels away, fluttering up to nest in a ginkgo tree's rigging. 5 windows glow with corpse candle flicker, their shapes matching the bell's sound holes. Historians gifted 3 Nobel Prizes for proving time's linearity. The grandfather clock floating upside down in a kiddie pool begs to differ. Laughter trickles from a parked Citroen, its seats upholstered with kelp and diplomatic treaties. Steering wheel gone, replaced by a ship's helm sprouting Federalist newspapers. You test the horn. It bleats like a fog-bound ferryman's bride. 19th century divorce petitions cite nautical dementia more often than adultery. Tonight's an excellent case study. The note finds your carotid, conducting pulse into a foghorn's baritone. Neck hairs sway like tide pool anemones. Last week's flu shot itches, trace amounts of tetanus vaccine resonating with rusted rivets. 16th century miners took canaries below your lymph nodes, chirp warnings in G minor. A payphone rings with the crispness of icebergs calving. Receiver feels like frozen cod against your cheek. 7 clicks. Then a dial tone mimicking the Marion's final depth charge explosion. Phone books dangling from the booth show names, redacted with squid ink. Except Elodie circled 19 times in what smells like rum. Left foot develops barnacle calluses. Right foot stays stubbornly 21st century. Schism spreads upward, jeans fraying into tarred canvas below the knee. Archaeologists found Roman nail clippers in Vesuvius ash. You wish for that mundane salvation now. The note splits into harmonies, major thirds that steam coming from manhole covers. You pass your own reflection in a puddle, wearing Admiral Nelson's coat over a Mont St. Mitchell tee. Pocket contents shift. Chapstick becomes tallow candle. AirPods mutate into wax earplugs, stamped Port Authority. Historians still argue whether dowsing rods actually found water. Your clavicle twitches toward storm drains like it knows better. The humming crystallizes, a prism scattering your bones across 7 nautical charts. Kneecaps land in 1803 Boston. Shoulder blades settle near Java Trench thermal vents. Heart, still mid-Atlantic, its pulse timed to Greenland sharks. Lazy heartbeats. 18th century physicers claimed organ placement dictated fate. Your pancreas, currently mapping the Drake Passage. Elodie's voice arrives via seagull, dropping half a Croissant wrapper as transmission fee. They took the good crisps, meaning either modern vending machines or Plymouth's 1621 biscuit riots. You answer without moving lips, thyroid cartilage vibrating sailor's cant. Your uvula traces figure eights, the universal sign for I'll bring chutney. 3 street signs collide, yielding to pearl-encrusted driftwood arrows. Graffiti declares, CDRIC, slept here, 1588. Wasn't that the janitor's name? Tag Tuesday. Damp eats your socks, weaving them into fishing nets, tangled with apostrophe catastrophes. 47% of Elizabethan wills mention lost buttons, your cufflinks gone full barnacle. The tunnel under Rue de Rivoli breathes, exhaling airbursts of stale biscuit and regret. Fluorescent lights flicker SOS in Welsh. Singleton's 1793 treatise on decompression sickness lies vandalized, every the replaced with brine. Your left shoelace reincarnates as catgut, stretched between centuries like a fiddle string out of tune. Lightning cracks without storm or sky, etching Lichtenberg figures into the pavement ahead. They curl into Phoenician, trade routes, and antisocial merfolk. 16th century mapmakers hid insanity clauses in their charters. You just stepped on Norway. Med school debt floats away paper shreds, becoming herring gulls pecking at pension plans. Radio static leaks from a BMW's wheel well, disembodied voices debating corked versus screwcap wine for drowning. License plate reads LOWTIDE. Backseats piled with oakum and iPads, running Windows 95 solitaire. Historians cherish binary. You're learning thirds and diminished fifths are where truth drowns. Your name unravels, first syllable snagged on a parking meter, last vowel dissolving into gutter brine. What remains spells bosun's problem in grease pencil math. 19th century mutineers carved similar equations into bulkheads. Their solutions required more blood than ink. Fingertips phase through a bus stop bench, wood grain replaced by barnacle mosaics. Ads promote tidal therapy and earwax removal services. Someone's scrawled Marion lives over a TikTok influencer's face, eyes crossed out with latitude markings. Reach, the bell's note pulls taut as a halyard in gales. Horizon warps, steepening, until you're climbing a liquid mer de glace. Each step squeezes ochre from sandstone tenements, rust becoming maritime rouge. The air smells of electrolysis, cordite and birthday, cake from crewmen's uncelebrated ages. 16th century astrologers paired Saturn with lead and melancholy. Your left molar agrees. Light leaks from a basement bakery, sourdough rounds stacked like life raft provisions. Baker winks sleeve riding up to reveal memento MARIS tattooed in Bruges font. His thumbprint leaves a whorl matching the bell's lip. You trade €3 for a roll. It dissolves into kelp florets before first bite. The hum narrows, collapsing into a singularity between your molars. Street lamps relight in reverse order, each bulb exploding into bioluminescent diatoms. Your shadow reforms triangular, grasping a cutlass that's 80% metaphor. Handle it anyway. Florence's 1966 flood washed chemical equations into canal mud. Tonight's tide brings solutions. Road ends, abrupt as a snapped mast. Waves curl over guardrails, their foam full of shredded stock reports and prophylactics. Surveyors once claimed oceans couldn't climb past 2 Abercrombie Place. The plaque sinks under Portuguese man-o'-war tendrils. You brace, 47%, certain this counts as waterfront property. Final step, toes meet nothing, but G7 hash vibrating through void. Trachea tightens, remembering scuba lessons from that Costa Rican timeshare presentation. 1986 called It Wants Its Neon Back. The bells hunger, unchanged, since Louis XV's wig still had Versailles dandruff. No coins for Karen, just €6 and a Safeway club card. Somewhere, Elodie drops a lychee gelato. Somewhere, the Marian's ledger blots your name with squid ink finality. Every ending's a salted loop. You fall upward into the note's belly. Remembering that dive bars last call philosophy, there's sober men in Devon. Your bare soles meet planks that creak like arthritic choir stalls, each board warped by tides that shouldn't exist here. Rotted masts spear the fog, their crow's nests home to albatrosses wearing dentist mirrors as pendants. 17th century, Breton shipwrights drilled nail holes at precise angles to repel woodworms. These beams failed calculus. Sailors' laughter slices through mist, each chuckle flaking like varnish on a forgotten Stradivarius. You swerve around a barrel labeled pickled EELS 1623. Its staves ripple into IKEA particle board before solidifying. Someone's humming What Shall We Do with the drunken sailor in 7/4 time. Harbor water laps your ankles, freezing, yet leaving skin bone dry. A 1904 dockside riot started over pineapple preserves. Tonight's brine carries that same fermented sweetness. 3 figures coalesce ahead, their silhouettes smudged like charcoal sketches in a storm. Broad-brimmed hats tilt at angles defying gravity, and the 1748 Hat Act, one gestures with a hand missing fingers, stumps glowing like snuffed match heads. Lost 'em to frostbite round the horn, he lies, or maybe your earlobe interprets wrong through salted air. Crates line the dock, marked with symbols from the Lubeck Customs House of 1562. You pry one open inside. Victorian thimbles, expired parking permits, and a desiccated seahorse wearing a POW tag. 18th century sailors caulked their clothes with pine tar for waterproofing. Your hoodies seams now leak resin onto collarbones. The bell looms ahead, its surface, pitted by phantom barnacles, shed centuries before your birth. A tavern materializes inside a capsized longboat. Tables bolted to the ceiling where rats sip from absinthe spoons. The bartender polishes glasses with journeys. Don't stop, believe in chorus. Each high note sterilizing glassware. Order a grog. Receive kombucha brewed with foraminifera fossils. The first sip unlocks core memories of places you've never birthed. Le Havre in '89, Nagasaki, in monsoon season, lanterns sway, their light pooling like mercury on wood grain. Historians still argue if the Mary Celeste's cargo of industrial alcohol could spontaneously combusted your drink bubbles with similar ambition. A crewman slides beside you, eye patch flipped up to reveal a working Google Pixel screen. They're rerouting the storm. He mutters, weather app showing category 4 laughter approaching. Moss creeps up your calf, each tendril whispering, outdated port tariffs. A child's jump rope lies abandoned by the bell, its handles shaped like Admiralty seals. Skip anyway, every rotation chips, petrified gum. Off the dock, Wrigley's spearmint, fused with 1812 naval rations. 19th century mutineers hid codes in nursery rhymes. This one ends with the bell tolls for the major. The pixel-eyed sailor grabs your wrist, his grip buzzing with unsent texts. Tell Elodie the compass rose is wilting. His breath smells of Bluetooth pairing mode. You nod, pretending to understand, while pocketing a napkin that unfolds into a 1674 Dutch tide chart. Low tide in 7 minutes or 7 decades, depending on which wound leaks faster. Fog thickens, solidifying into gauze strips that cling to your nostrils. The bell's mouth yawns inches from your face, its clapper hanging motionless as a pendulum between lives. One threadbare rope tethers it to the dock, fibers frayed by centuries of unanswered tugs. Touch the metal, it leaves a taste of Grandma's benzoin tincture. And Persian Gulf, crude oil on your tongue. Shouts erupt behind you. The tavern's collapsed into Roget's Thesaurus page 842. Maritime disasters. Crewmen dissolve into dictionary margins, their final curses cross-referenced to regret and untied shoelaces. The pixel sailor waves as he evaporates, mouthing disable two-factor authentication. Weightlessness claims you, the dock peeling away like sunburned skin. Last thing your souls feel, Georgia O'Keeffe painted clouds from this altitude during her 1958 Pan AM flights. You hover dangling between the bells, unmet thirst, and the harbor's false farewell. Rot spreads upward, toenails yellowing into antique nautical varnish. Lungs fill with the silence before the first word of creation. If creation had a returns policy, cold brine numbs your ankles, the exact temperature of tears shed during the 1627 siege of La Rochelle. Rope fibers graze your wrist, tar-stained threads, whispering Morse code even Marconi couldn't crack. Some claim tolling bells lower blood pressure, yours pounds triple time against the rulebook. Voices swarm like pilot fish around the bell's shadow. Heard they forged it from 9 church bells, says a deckhand gnawing asbestos-rich hardtack. His teeth leave glowing marks, DIY glow sticks of the age of sail. Another spits onto the dock. The phlegm bubble floats upward, revealing a miniature Titanic inside. You press a palm to the bell's lip. It hums the opening chord of smells, like teen spirit backward. Bluish men haul nets bulging with Fiji mermaids and intact Tamagotchis. Pay no mind, just flotsam from the 2007 eBay servers. Mumbles a rigger splicing fiber optic cables into hemp. Historians still argue whether Phoenicians navigated using fermented mackerel gut compass. The smell here suggests yes. Something nudges your calf. A sea otter balancing 7 Foghat LPs on its belly. Take one, price is your mother's first email password. You decline. Wise move, that 1997 AOL disk in your pocket starts melting. The rope thickens, each strand a preserved Viking beard hair soaked in tar. Your fingers find grooves worn by generations of arthritic hands. 18th century ships carried parrots solely to repeat the captain's orders verbatim. Earlier today, one squawked your Google Calendar reminders. Fog congeals into something resembling your third grade teacher, 78 paces northwest. She croaks, chalk dust drifting from sleeves. You obey. Nearby crates hold Napoleonic era sardine tins, labeled "Very disappointed in you." The bell's clapper swings not bronze, but braided human hair. Breton lore claims bells can DNA match their ringers. Your follicles tingle a warning. Salt crust cracks on your collar, each flake etched with trivia about 1930s dirigible dining menus. Try the kelp salad, dressed in tears of the 1997 Microsoft antitrust lawyers. Suggests a chef peeling barnacles with an iPhone SIM tool. His apron bears the faded golden arches of the Mary. Celeste's last breakfast order. A child's hopscotch grid appears, each square stamped with expired maritime insurance claims. You land on Act of God, Clause 12b. The tiles dissolve into jellyfish stinging with petty office grievances from 2003. Purple lightning forks. The bell's surface flashes tonight's date in Olmec glyphs. Matchhead Stumps Man appears, waving a map of failed 1980s mall food courts. Here be Ratatouille's Cinnabon. He wheezes annotations in certified public accountant shorthand. Cold spreads up your shins, a chill first felt by Drake's cabin boy during the NVIDIA stock dip of 2022. The pixel sailor materializes, shaking an hourglass filled with single origin chia seeds. Grain reckoning, he sighs. Entire empires fall between your blinks. Best Buy reward points expire in real time. Your shadow stretches seaward, stretching into the silhouette of Blackbeard's tax attorney. It shrugs, muttering about deductible plunder and charitable donations of shrapnel. The bell inhales sharply, sucking 3 buttons from your jacket that won't be invented until 2047. Blood hums in your ears, a medley of sea shanties and dial-up tones. When archaeologists found the Vasa, her hold contained butter still edible after 333 years. Your tongue tastes that exact salted richness now. Metal groans. The clapper sways like a trapeze artist between choices. You grab the rope. It sticks. Ambersap promises binding contracts signed with eyelash signatures. Someone whispers that sinking ships always list to port first. Your knees buckle leftward on cue. Lightning strikes the bell. It rings in D-flat minor, the key of Hildegard von Bingen's migraines. Your fillings vibrate out, rolling into the harbor to join their Mercury ancestors. Wind peels back the sky like a Kirigami Walmart receipt. Vapor trails spelling you have one unread message. The pixel sailor salutes with a hand made of smoke detectors. 7 nanosecond window, make it a pay, not butter knife. Translation: hesitation drowns cleaner, but hurts more. Bell metal meets your forehead, coldness spreading like stolen Wi-Fi. British Naval Code mandated exactly 3,798 lashes per ship annually. Your spine tallies old debts. Far below, something clicks. The sound of Rocky Mountain oysters, cans popping in 1886 Denver. You realize your shoelaces have tied themselves into granny knots approved by Zurich Maritime courts. Salt crystallizes on your lips, recalling Truman's 1950 promise to drain the Gulf of Mexico for parking. A walrus wearing Paul Revere's spectacles offers kombucha braised cuttlefish. Politely decline your guts, already hosting airborne verified shipworms. Dawn leaks through cracks in reality, streaking the bell with colors banned by 1568 sumptuary laws. The rope frays into individual hairs, each strand a different ethnic origin's memory of drowning. Your left foot dissolves into minnows, their tiny mouths singing Nearer My God to Thee in autotune. Right foot transforms into an unsustainable avocado farm. The bell tolls once, air ripples, the sound of 10,000 Victorian seance tables flipping over. Your last coherent thought: at least you didn't order the kelp salad. The hemp bites into your palms, calluses bloom like lichen over skin that's not yours anymore. 73 stitches overhead grin through worn canvas, each X made of names. Pierre Marc Gwen threads dyed with crushed cochineal beetles used in Renaissance lipstick. Your thumbnail splits resharpening a belaying pin. The pain feels borrowed. Ship's biscuits crumble in your new grip. Those rock-hard wafers Napoleon's troops allegedly used as armor. A crewmate offers whale oil for your cracks. His earlobe glints with an 1800s Peruvian soul coin. Sailors swore pierced ears cured seasickness. Historians still argue whether it was superstition or down payment for Christian burials. You decline. The oil smells like fast food fryers and regret. Dawn reveals your fingerprints etched with tidal charts, latitude lines scarred by decades of tarred rope. Rolled up sleeves show forearms mapped with phantom tattoos. A Kraken battling Thomas Edison's first light bulb. The captain's parrot perches on your shoulder. It recites your elementary school cafeteria menu. Meatloaf Mondays echo across decks, scrubbed with vinegar. Same stuff cook's crew used to disinfect scurvy gums. Stitch number 44 pricks your thumb. The thread tastes of Britannia rum and pre-breakup mixtapes. That's Jack, says a voice spun from sailcloth. Drowned in 1783, trying to arm wrestle a narwhal. The needle keeps moving Emily Lars. Sakura, each not syncing with your heartbeat. You flex hands that once texted emojis. Now they tie bolins faster than cheat codes. Lunch arrives, a stew thick with salt pork, and the existential dread of fax machines. The cook winks his apron embroidered with lost Nantucket whaling songs. You find an onion ring in your bowl, an artifact the British Museum insists was ceremonial headgear. The crew chants as you chew. It's just the Cole's February clearance jingle, played backward. Your pinky nail carves a groove in the mainmast, same where pattern found on Columbus's Santa Maria. Barnacles crunch. Underfoot, they're farming your dead skin cells like Iowa corn. Ship's surgeon offers a tonic, fermented kombucha, and gunpowder. Guaranteed to prevent rickets or your misery back, he croons. You sip. It unlocks core memories of 2009 pop-up ads. The stitches glow at dusk. Bioluminescent silk from Mariana's trench spiders. Number 69 pulses Cyan, a midwife lost mid-ocean, birthing twins. Your blisters burst in harmony, each pop a B-flat matching Shackleton's wedding aria. Palm lines rewrite themselves, your life expectancy now measured in nautical knots. Moonlight reveals the truth. Those aren't your scars. The burn mark below your thumb, that's from the Mary Rose's last cannon volley. The chipped index fingernail, clawed from a lifeboat during the 1929 stock market crash. Your hands applaud without permission. The sound draws porpoises wearing tiny tricorn hats. Midnight finds you mending sails, needle dancing through linen like it's threading Disneyland fast pass queues. Stitch 73 awaits. The thread glistens with sap from Chichen Itza's sacred trees. You hesitate. The crew holds its breath. Twitch streamers would have spammed the prayer hands emoji. Push the needle through. Your blood beads blue as Windex. The final knot seals with a click. TikTok's notification. Sound circa 2021. Wind slams into the sails. Suddenly, you're fluent in 18 dead dialects of row harder. Your blistered palms brush the stitches. It plays like a bone flute version of All Star by Smash Mouth. The captain nods, his pipe belches smoke that curdles into Arizona iced tea logos. Fine work, he growls. The compliment etches itself into your liver. Crewmates slap your back, their palms leave stamps, reading property of Atlantic Charter, Flight 19. You check your reflection in a soup ladle, the eyes staring back, captained 3 mutinies and a Subway franchise. Salt crusts your eyelashes, each granule imprinted with Zayn Malik's 2016 shower thoughts. The stitches hum, names vibrating through rigging into your molars. 73 lives thrum under your stolen skin, each heartbeat a barnacle on eternity's hull. Your stolen hands still hum with 73 heartbeats when he finds you. The captain's boots crunch barnacle shells into bone meal. Ambergris smoke coils from his pipe that waxy treasure sperm whales cough up for French perfumers. And this soggy crypt of a man. His left eye reflects hurricane skies. The right shows your face as a 19th century daguerreotype. You smell his breath before he speaks, pickled onions, and the ink used to forge Civil War telegrams. Fine stitchwork, he hisses, gesturing at your blood-crusted sleeves. But linen's poor company, come forecastle confessionals. The pipe's ember winks, same orange as the Folger's coffee can logo some claim, was melted down from Spanish cannons. His ring finger taps your collarbone, 14-karat gold mined during California's rush, yet mysteriously absent from museum records. Historians still argue whether lost nuggets fueled early Hollywood's prop departments or Raymond Chandler's divorce settlements. The bell's shadow stretches. Suddenly you're back in third-grade gym class, dodging dodgeballs. Its curve looms like a skate park half-pipe, if half-pipes dripped verdigris and sobbed tidal equations. The captain grabs your wrist, his grip imprints a Rolex-shaped bruise. You'll work, he rasps, 3 words that taste of dentist drills and dial-up modems. Deck planks squirm underfoot. The wood grain forms presidential campaign slogans from 1840. Your fingers brush the bell's lip. It sings a single note your dental fillings recognize. 16 men materialize clutching sextants and jewel pods. Their faces are AI-generated deepfakes of your high school bullies. The youngest wears Converse sneakers pockmarked with coral polyps. He winks. Don't worry, you'll still get college credit for this. Someone shoves a mop into your tattooed hands, the handles carved from Antarctic ice. It sweats Nickelodeon gack. You slop gray brine across the deck. Each droplet contains a miniature Titanic playing on loop. The crew chants sea shanties, synced to the baby shark melody. Their harmonies peel, paint off imaginary bulkheads. Dinner's served in a dog bowl stamped with Blackbeard's eBay handle. Mush glistens, part oatmeal, part algae, entirely rebranded as Sailor's ketosis loaf. The cook whispers it's 90% protein. He doesn't specify whose. You swallow a gristly chunk. It types out Morse code regrets in your small intestine. Moonlight hits the bell's clapper. It's now shaped like your ex's arm during that ill-advised pottery class. The captain materializes beside you. His breath writes tomorrow's lottery numbers in fog. Ever hear why figureheads faced portside? He croaks. So the boat could wink at better futures. His laugh sounds like Velcro separating, the kind NASA used on Apollo spacesuits, and your middle school trapper keeper. Midnight finds you swabbing the crow's nest. Your mop bristles birth bioluminescent plankton. Below, the crew plays poker with Spanish doubloons, minted the year Pluto got demoted. A redhead deals cards. His freckles chart the Bermuda Triangle's true coordinates. You drop the mop. It shatters into Legos that spell delete your browser history in nautical flags. The bell tolls once, twice. Your molars buzz like PlayStation controllers. The captain's shadow engulfs you two-dimensional and smelling of tax audits. His hook, suddenly he has a hook, taps your sternum. Time to earn your sea legs. He means the literal ones. Your shin bones fuse into coral-encrusted peg legs from a museum diorama. A wave slaps the hull. It's the exact temperature of melted Baskin-Robbins pralines. N cream. Salt crusts your nostrils. Each crystal contains a pixelated Greek tragedy. The crew chants your social security number backward. It summons a sea cucumber that teaches origami. You fold a paper crane. It flies into the bell's mouth and becomes a tick-tock famous ghost. Dawn leaks through storm clouds, the color of hospital curtains and 1990s IMAX. Your stolen hands carve scrimshaw into the captain's pipe, a stick figure saga of your last dentist appointment. The whalebone remembers. It whispers cetacean gossip about Moby Dick's unpublished Yelp reviews. 2 stars. Wouldn't recommend the harpoon ambience. The bell yawns. Its shadow stretches over your chest like a weighted blanket filled with haunted church bells. You cough. The sound echoes as a bass drop from that dubstep phase you regret. 73 stitches itch beneath your shirt. They're live streaming your midlife crisis to 18th century Facebook. Your peg legs root into the deck. Oak planks murmur recipes for hardtack and voter suppression. The captain's eye sockets fill with mercury. Quicksilver pupils narrow like subway turnstiles. Almost there, he wheezes 3 syllables that donate blood to the concept of doubt. 1 stitch bursts Leela, 23, lost during the Halifax explosion. Her thread unravels into a voicemail your mom left during your Lucy Liu phase. You fumble the mop. It transforms into a lightsaber from that knockoff Star Wars convention. The crew applauds, half with hands, half with seal flippers. When the fog lifts, you're holding a nameplate that reads temporary crew member. The bell purrs. It's learning your childhood nickname. Salt crystallizes your eyelashes into tiny Wollstonecraft quotes. Somewhere, a whale vomits profit. The biscuit shatters like a sandcastle under your thumbnail. Weevils pour out information. They're performing Hamilton's Act 2 finale, tiny powdered wigs paper-clipped to their heads. Water sloshes in your tin cup. It's mostly lead with a whisper of battery park tap. You sip, your molars tarnish on contact. 17th century sailors ate weevils for protein. Or so the museum plaques claim. Your stage, a Union strike. They file into your left nostril, chanting Montessori preschool mantras. The captain's shadow cuts your ration, literally, with a knife that once buttered Marie Antoinette's toast. Historians still argue whether maggots added protein or just despair. The bell hums through your dreams now. Its vibrations rearrange your fillings into QR codes. Last night, you scanned one. It linked to a podcast about Halifax explosion survivors who claimed ghosts taught them Esperanto. Your bunkmate snores in Morse code. You decode sell Apple stock, November 5th. Breakfast glows. irradiated prunes floating in brine. The cook winks. He swears it's molecular gastronomy. You bite, the prunes burst into sepia newsreels of the Titanic's third-class buffet. The fork tines bend, engraved with tiny crop circles from the 1977 WoW. Signal, midnight watch brings shadow rations. The crew shares a single licorice whip stretched thin as dental floss. You suck your inch, it tastes of stolen library books and De Soto's lost florins. The redhead beside you whispers. His breath smells of Eisenhower-era asbestos. They say the bell eats time, chews it like saltwater taffy. Your pocket watch melts, gears form a diorama of the Mary Celeste's final breakfast. 14. Frozen fried eggs, yolks staring like security cameras. The captain confiscates it. His beard now houses a miniature Zocalo marketplace. Vendors sell obsidian razors and dignity, 2 for 1. Lunch crawls a kraken tentacle in formaldehyde. It writes Lisbon coordinates in iambic pentameter across your tongue. You chew, it's definitely calamaria from that sketchy food truck. The bell tolls. Your stool becomes a powder keg from the Battle of the Kegs. Historians never mention kegs developing separation anxiety. Your gums bleed mercury. Quicksilver droplets roll down your chin. They merge into a mic drop mid-90s opera style. The crew cheers, teeth glinting like oil-slick chandeliers. Dinner's a Rorschach test, inkblot soup with dumpling constellations. You swear one resembles your third-grade teacher doing tick-tock dances. The youngest sailor vomits bioluminescent plankton. Their glow spells Epstein didn't kill himself in cursive. The captain blames bad clams, but everyone knows clams don't write Prufrock memos. The bell's hum rewires your hunger. You crave kronans now. Seconds pass like overcooked linguine. You nibble a moonbeam. It crunches like Pringles from Chernobyl's abandoned vending machines. Your shadow thins. It could model for Giacometti now. Sleep brings phantom feasts, shadow figs, fog soufflés. A walrus in a hoop skirt serves Baudelaire's absinthe recipe. It pairs well with leaded nostalgia. You wake with Salisbury steak stains. The carpet claims there from LBJ's Air Force One. Your boots dissolve, soles replaced with pages from Moby Dick's remaindered copies. Words squirm underfoot. Call me Ishmael migrates to your big toe. The bell tolls, your skeleton ages 12 years. The water ration whispers now diplomatic secrets from the Congress of Vienna. You drink deeper. Each sip cross-examines your life choices. The water's lawyer charges by the hour. Billable epics stack like overdue blockbuster tapes. Dawn bleeds through storm clouds the color of expired penicillin. The crew plays jacks with Paul Forum screeds. You lose 3 rounds. Your winnings include a Confederate railroad bond and recurring sleep paralysis. The captain demands interest, paid in teeth. Your final biscuit births a scorpion, Arizona bark variety. It defends its young with Robert's rules of order. You negotiate a truce. It gets your firstborn's student debt. The bell tolls, your taste buds time travel. Coffee tastes of Stasi interrogation rooms. Hardtack snaps, its playing lists La Campanella on your molars. Historians will call this cervicore cuisine. Your shadow peels off, it applies to art school. The personal essay mentions your mercury addiction, and peg legs Bauhaus potential. You wave goodbye, it flips you off with a Toulouse-Lautrec glove. Nightfall brings a feast of absence, plates heaped with circadian rhythms. The bell carves your name into space-time. It's misspelled in Comic Sans. You correct it. The pen leaks Krakatoa's ashes. The dead sailor's hammock sways. It hums Radiohead's Pyramid Song in Pig Latin. You hum along, rhythm sinks to the bell's arrhythmia. By week's end, your tongue maps 11 new time zones. Words emerge pickled Worcestershire regrets, umami traumas. The crew bets on which organ fails first, spleen's the odds-on favorite. A weevil offers stock tips, short on hourglasses, long on caskets. You invest your longing. It yields compound interest in radio shack coupons. The bell tolls, your kidneys file for divorce. Custody battle plays out in knockoff Monopoly money. You land on boardwalk. It's underwater now, literally. Rain falls, acidic enough to strip Confederate statues. You catch drops in a hat once owned by Schrodinger's cat. The captain declares it contraband, tax evasion in 7 jurisdictions. Your blood types itself, O negative, with a bibliography. The bell edits it. Track changes suggest sacrificing vowels to Neptune. Sleep finally comes, a velvet hearse with fuzzy dice. The dashboard GPS recites Celan poems backward. You arrive nowhere, receipts folded into Hunder frost paints your eyelashes into chandeliers. Each blink tinkles like a haunted music box. 11 shapes shuffle near the forbidden bell. Their breath hangs in tactical formations. You count them twice, always 11. Though the 7th man seems borrowed from another timeline. His beard flickers between handlebar and goatee styles, depending on who's looking. The mast creaks, a guttural groan from the belly of something older than oak. Ice spiderwebs the rigging. You bite your tongue to stay silent, tastes of coppertone and shame. Someone's knife hovers over the bell's rope blade, nicked from the Battle of Lake Borgne. You remember reading about Andrew Jackson's ragtag militia, how they greased cannons with their own body fat. Historians still argue whether patriotism stinks like rendered lard. Frozen planks bite through your disintegrating boots, soles now lined with pages from Darwin's lesser-known theory of procrastination. A sailor coughs. His phlegm freezes midair. It shatters on impact. Each shard hums a different Arctic exploration tune. You pocket one instant Benny Goodman remix. The bell's shadow stretches despite moonless dark, engulfing the huddle in liquid obsidian. Whispers skate across ice, will never reach the trading post. Captain's gone full Ahab Mercury rots in the hardtack. One voice cracks, teenage high, barely legal. His hands juggle penguin bones, claiming they predict Super Bowl scores from 1998 to present. A tin cup materializes, Nuremberg rally souvenir. The ringleader pours liquid doubt. It stains the deck with Versailles Treaty ink blots. You sip. It's kombucha brewed during Tesla's midnight breakdowns. The warmth spreads lies about being brave. Sparks fly as the knife meets rope, except it's not rope. The bell's tether pulses, umbilical cord thick and veined. Blue fluid oozes, freezes into Piet Mondrian tiles. Someone screams through numb lips, sounds like dial-up modem agony. Frost heaves split the deck crevices, inhale 2 mutineers, and a soapbox speech about workers' rights. Their gloves clutch air, final poker hand, still showing royal flush delusions. The mast snaps, a sound like God biting celery. Icicle shrapnel embeds in your cheek, melts into straight bourbon. The captain materializes in a fog of clove cigarettes, coat lined with Manchester cholera outbreak broadsheets. His cutlass gleams wrong, reflecting futures where you're already hanged. Belay that, he growls, but the words slip on black ice. The bell sways, no hand touches it. Your feet fuse to the deck, timbers whisper Elizabethan gossip about Drake's missing fingernails. The ringleader lunges, body moving through frozen air like whale blubber through a sieve. His knife carves the captain's shadow. It bleeds penny dreadful cereals. Someone's been hoarding bananas below deck, a cursed fruit that even sober sailors fear. They combust now, sweet stench of potassium and panic. Flames twist into glyphs from the Voynich manuscripts, rejected drafts. The bell tolls once. Ice swallows 6 men whole, final expressions caught between O and she. Their frozen screams make perfect paperweights. You spit mercury onto the deck. It sketches Pompeii graffiti of Elvis. The remaining mutineers form a conga line, muscle memory, overriding survival instinct. Their song warps into whale song, into dial tones, into silence. Dawn arrives as concept art, half finished and poorly lit. 3 men remain, you included. The captain sucks frost from his whiskers. Each crystal contains a whispering Titanic passenger. His pipe glows, tobacco mixed with pages from Beowulf's comedy sequel. The bell hums your childhood phone number, area code, discontinued during the Clinton administration. You reach, frostbite turns your fingers into Picasso nubs. Meltwater pools reflects not your face, but a Victorian spinster's. She mouths warnings about taxidermy dodos and improperly filed port visas. When you blink, she's flipping double birds with hands scarred by papal indulgences. The surviving mutineer sobs. His tears freeze into Rosetta Stones of contrition. You pocket one, might decode grocery lists later. Overhead, the severed mast swings, pendulum counting degrees toward damnation. Icicles grow upward now, stalagmites of inverted time. The captain nods, his approval smells of salted Nobel laureates. The bell tolls twice. Your teeth vibrate out Morse code confessions, Stole crayons in 92, pirated Titanic soundtrack. Never liked pumpkin spice. When the ice finally claims you, it's a relief polished smooth as a brass plaque. Last thought, should have bought that Bitcoin when the walrus told you. Air bubbles escape, each contains a different expiration date. You choose Tuesday. The ice around your chest cracks, not from warmth, but pressure. Something massive spirals counterclockwise below. Your boots lift an inch from the deck. You taste copper and Antarctic treaty violations. The bell swings, untouched, its tone lower than any church bell ever forged. Planks arch upward like whale vertebrae. 18th century whalers wrote of a song beneath the songs, a bass line to the ocean's symphony. You feel it now in your molars. The ship lists starboard, 12 barrels of salted cod plunge through rotten railings. One bursts open midair, its fish flop upwards toward the abyss. Defying Isaac Newton's retirement planning. The captain grips the mainmast, stump his arm hair freezing to the wood grain. Steady as she goes, he croaks, a phrase maritime museums will embroider on bathroom towels someday. You count 3 heartbeats between each toll, almost slip reciting Pythagoras, irrational numbers. Green light erupts off port side, bioluminescent bait balls forming Fibonacci spirals. A dorsal fin breaches scales the color of overdue library books. Your brain helpfully supplies trivia. Greenland sharks live 400 years. This one's wearing a rusted anchor like a peep-toe stiletto. The bell tolls again. Its vibrations align your fillings nor-northwest. You recall that Tudor sailors blamed seismic shifts on undersea giants playing skittles. Modern oceanographers aren't laughing, not after the bloop incident. Historians still argue whether Cortés' lost cannons triggered persistent echo anomalies. Every lantern extinguishes, replaced by cold fire writhing across the bell's surface. It etches coordinates into the air, latitude matching the Mary Celeste's last position. The deck tilts 45 degrees. You skid past the galley's overturned stove. A pot of perpetual stew sloshes. Its recipe dates to Magellan's sous chef. The creature surfaces, eye wide as a Catherine wheel. Its pupil contracts, reflecting every ship you've ever sailed, including that Disney cruise where you vomited into the unknown 3 times. Barnacles crust its lid, each contains a shrunken sailor's final thought. You swipe one, it whispers a decent lasagna formula. Rigging snaps, a yardarm plunges toward the abyss. The captain tackles you, fracturing 3 of your dignity bones. His breath reeks of disappointment and fermented lingonberries. Stay sharp, he barks, as if you're not actively cosplaying a human popsicle. The bell's clapper strikes air. A visible shockwave parts the fog. The Leviathan stills, head cocked like a cocker spaniel, hearing Stravinsky. You swear it mouths butthole surfers. 91 tour was overrated. 3 crewmen jump overboard. Their screams curdle into dolphin giggles. Ice reforms beneath your feet, suddenly stable. You spot brass buttons melting into the deck, each imprinted with faces of unknown presidents. Someone's sextant floats by, the lenses warped to show only childhood regrets. The creature submerges, causing a whirlpool of black snow. The bell rings twice more high C sharp, followed by B flat. The storm lifts like theater curtains, revealing a moon partially nibbled. You wonder idly if werewolves prefer dark meat. Dawn arrives disguised as fog. The remaining crew, 7, 9. Numbers keep shuffling, huddle near the splintered capstan. The captain's left boot has become one with the deck. He paces in perfect circles. Your pockets now bulge with cursed artifacts. A navigation chart predicting Auckland's descent into volcanoes. A thimble containing Genghis Khan's favorite campfire song. The bell hangs silent, its surface scarred by light claws. By noon, the sea lies flat as a liar's resume. 13 albatrosses land in formation, spelling LOL in Morse. The cook tries serving calamari, tentacles arrange themselves into help ME gestures. You opt for hardtack. It dissolves into actionable legal advice. Later hours, days, you lean over the rail. The water clarifies to aquarium glass clarity. Far below, the Leviathan sleeps, its body forming a perfect Fibonacci spiral. The bell's shadow touches its spine, and for 3 breaths, you understand squid language. Maintenance logs will blame hull stress on rogue waves. Insurance adjusters will cite market volatility. But when your pen hovers over the final report, it sketches tidal charts instead. You initial each one, promise etched in vanishing ink. The bell never tolls again. Not that voyage, but seawater still tastes faintly of kombucha and unanswered questions. Your eyelids crackle like old vellum. Everything smells of burnt hair and shame. The surgeon's saw glints, a butter knife stolen from some grandmother's Sunday tea. He mumbles about Mercury's virtues. You remember Victorian ladies drinking the stuff for pearly skin. And also kidney failure. Lots of kidney failure. Fever paints the cabin walls with greasy rainbows, a gangrenous Instagram filter. The bell's hum seeps through timbers. It turns your sweat into salt-crusted lace. Someone's feeding you vinegar steeped in moth wings, historical cure for mermaid lung. Tastes like regret and salad dressing. A rat scuttles over your ankle. It wears a tiny hat crocheted from toenail clippings. You make a mental note. Check eBay later for cursed rodent haberdashery. The doctor straps leeches to your temples. Their little mouths pucker like disappointed uncles. 18th century sea captains swore garlic necklaces warded off scurvy. Yours reeks like a Subway hero sandwich. 0 vitamin C, maximum social distancing. The bell pulses. Its vibrations scatter the leeches into a panic line dance. Your teeth chatter Morse code. Why did I skip that vaccine cruise? The surgeon whips out a pewter syringe, contents labeled Love Potion 9. Historians still argue whether colonial doctors killed more patients than typhus. You're leaning toward absolutely yes. The bell's voice slicks your brain. Suddenly, you smell starlight. Or maybe that's the gangrene. Visions swarm. A Lisbon apothecary shop. Shelf labels written in toenail fungus. A jar marked Benjamin Franklin's athlete's foot spores. Merchandising was wild back then. You vomit into a chamber pot last used by Blackbeard's third cousin. The bell hums lower. It sounds suspiciously like Billy Joel's Piano Man. Slower, jazzier. The surgeon frowns at your stool sample. Is that a crew manifest from 1622? Delirium lifts like cheap theater fog. You count 37 flies, spell-checking the ceiling mold. The bell's cold kiss on your forehead burns cleaner than the mercury. Its lullaby hits different at 104 degrees F, motherly scolding woven into every vibration. Sails flap like a rhythmic applause. A cabin boy peers through the keyhole. You glimpse harpoon calluses morphing into tick-tock handles. The doctor naps upright, snoring the NATO phonetic alphabet. Or maybe he's summoning demons. It's a 50-50 split. Nightfall brings clarity sharper than the surgeon's rusty scalpel. The bell's song untangles your fever dreams. You realize 3 things. 1 whale oil tastes like butter if you're desperate enough to. The captain's toupee is actually a confused possum 3. Death's a bad therapist who keeps rescheduling dawn, arrives with lukewarm gruel and colder regrets. The bell shifts from lullaby to nu metal breakdown. Its bronze flushes pink. You sit up, muscles screaming like over-caffeinated mimes. The surgeon's leeches now spell Ezra on your arm. No idea who that is. By noon, the fever breaks. Your first coherent thought, did I copyright those rat hat designs? The bell thrums twice, approving, or maybe threatening to sue. Maritime laws a gray area. The captain barges in his boots, squelching with existential dread. You'll live, he grunts. The bell echoes 4 now, in perfect barbershop harmony. You request a 401k and dental plan. He laughs until his monocle fogs. Later, shivering, but vertical, you press a palm to the bell. Its metal remembers lighthouses shaped like chicken coops, pirates bribing customs officials with novelty mugs, a stowaway's ballad about gluten-free hardtack. You sneeze. 3 barnacle shards rocket into the surgeon's schnapps. As constellations pierce the mastheads, the bell hums a lullaby unauthorized by BMI. You realize the real cure wasn't mercury or moth-wing vinegar. It was knowing the ocean's just a bathtub with better PR. Sleep comes, no dreams. Just the bell's heartbeat syncing with yours, and the faint smell of garlic. Always the garlic. Your stitches itch where the canvas presses, 100 thread teeth gnawing at salt-blistered skin. They roll you starboard. The crew avoids your eyes. First rule of sea burials. No goodbyes, make easier resurrections. Moonlight glints off the sailmaker's needle. He's using mermaid scale thread, or maybe dental floss from 1974. Hard to tell in this lighting. German U-boat crews smuggled vinyl records to play at funerals, submarine speakers, thrumming Wagner through black water, your send-offs less operatic. 3 drunk harmonies of Nearer, My God to Thee, and a kazoo solo. The bell tolls, its note bends upward like a question. The captain kicks the burial plank, not old oak, IKEA fiberboard, salvaged from a Tampa yacht club. Splinters jab your shoulder through the shroud. Smithsonian anthropologists found lead weights in 18th century sailor graves. Keep the dead from floating home. Yours is a cannonball labeled Mom's Meatloaf Recipe. Poetic. Cold slaps your cocooned feet first. The bell's hum transmutes. Now a warped Vivaldi ringtone filtered through kelp. Saltwater bleeds through canvas pores. You remember Victorian divers who claimed drowning felt like champagne bubbles in the brain. Liars, it burns like tequila shots in a paper cut. Pressure builds your left eardrum pops. Something brushes the shroud, tentacle or fishing net, or last week's laundry. Historians still argue whether sailors sewed corpses face up to watch for mermaids or face down to avoid sea witch eye contact. You're definitely tasting seaweed in your nostrils. 20 seconds without air, lungs ballooning against stitched canvas. The bell's note drills deeper. It's humming your social security number backward. A museum in Reykjavik displays a 1723 shroud embroidered with pickup lines for Ferrum and Karen. Yours has a Starbucks loyalty card number sharpied near the knee. 3 luminescent fish circle their bioluminescence spelling LOL in Morse code or SOS. Depends on your optimism. The cannonball drags you faster. Moonlight shrinks to a dime-sized glimmer above. Someone packed a 1983 Chuck E. Cheese token in your shroud pocket. Morticians have dad jokes too. 400 years ago, Vikings sent chiefs sailing on flaming ships. You get barnacle-encrusted IKEA and a coupon for 10% off your next burial. The bell's vibration syncs with your slowing pulse. Its bronze remembers air, remembers hands, remembers breath. Darkness thickens, hungry darkness. Pressure cracks your ribcage's popcorn symphony. Your tongue tastes of pennies and expired sunscreen. 18th century whalers whispered that drowned men grow coral hearts, pulsing slow as tide cycles. Yours feels more like a gumball machine jammed with fairy tokens. The bell's note fractures glass shards in syrup. You glimpse the wreck below, mast splinters piercing seafloor like a thrown game of pickup sticks. HMS Pembroke sank here with 60 casks of radioactive mayonnaise, or maybe that's just the hypoxia talking. Something rips your shroud, a seal's teeth flashing orthodontist braces silver. Cold floods the canvas coffin. Final breath escapes, a bubble trailing toward non-existent light. The bell tolls once more. Its sound becomes water, becomes blood, becomes static. Consciousness lingers. You're kneeling in a ballroom where fish wear waistcoats. A hermit crab offers Petty's fours on barnacle trays. The bell hangs from a chandelier, its clapper replaced with an anchor's tooth. A memorandum drifts by, drowning victims. Potluck Tuesday, BYO Chinese letter oxygen. Something tugs your wrist. The captain's ghost chain smokes behind a coral pillar. Should have invested in Tesla. His laugh unravels into seahorse confetti. The bell shudders, rippling the dream like a skipped stone. You whisper the Chuck E. Cheese token digits. Nothing happens. Classic. Weightlessness fades. Your bones compact, carbon into diamond, into coal, into something softer. The seafloor accepts you, a lover's sigh through open windows. Tiny creatures begin their work, stitching your silhouette into sediment like a crime scene outline. Far above, the bell finally silences. 80 years pass in a guppy's heartbeat. Divers chatter through oxygen hiss. That's the guy who copyrighted rat hats. Their flashlights sweep your ossified hand, still clutching the coupon. Someone takes a selfie. The bell remains buried 3 fathoms east, its voice now yours, its tongue now brine-softened steel. You dream in kelp. You breathe in silt. You become excellent at waiting. Fluorescent panels buzz their light tastes like freezer-burned lemonade. Your fingers twitch against starched sheets, fabric softer than kelp, stranger than sailcloth. Something tugs your elbow. The IV lines plastic veins, click, click, clicking, in time to rigging. Always rigging. A heart monitor beeps. Not the ship's bell, not the sea's pulse. 16 beats per minute, Olympic freediver numbers. Your tongue presses a molar, tastes of antiseptic and lingering salt. Florence Nightingale once noted sailors' wounds healed faster under whale oil lamps. This hospice-grade LED isn't helping. The nurse adjusts your pillow. Her scrubs smell of iodine and low tide. Welcome back, she murmurs. Security cameras blink red above her shoulder, anglerfish lures in a vinyl sea. She taps your wristband. John Doe, mermaid code, teal 22. Machines were hydraulic beds, exhale down the hall. Your left foot itches where barnacles should be. Cotton sheets chafe worse than burial shrouds. World War II pilots hallucinated cockpit gremlins. Maybe you've got a ship's bell poltergeist. Its hum thrums behind your sternum, brass resonance where your ribs meet. You croak a question voice, sandpapered by ventilator tubes. The nurse tilts a juice cup to your lips. Hawaiian punch. Of course, they found you naked at Pier 12, she says. Clutching her pen taps the chart. You follow its motion, dizziness swirling like a draining whirlpool. Discharge papers list maritime fugue and advanced onychophagia. Bite your nails much. The bell's hum sharpens, its vibrations spelling liar against your molars. A TV murmurs above weatherman, pointing at a hurricane named Brenda. Closed captions glitch. High tides correlate with 18th century whaling logs. Your IV stand casts a shadow, rigging, and yardarms on linoleum. Historians still debate whether rescued drowning victims retain saltwater in their lungs for 7 years. Your chest x-ray says yes. The nurse checks your pupils. Her stethoscope's cold disc lingers right over the bell's phantom toll. Fun fact, she whispers. Victorian resurrectionists hid bodies in coffins labeled Egyptian mummies to avoid inspection. She winks. Your admittance form says cargo. Night falls, or the fluorescents dim. Whispers snake through air vents, crewmen's voices soaked in 2 centuries of brine. A heart monitor echoes the bell's rhythm. 3 slow beats, 1 fast. SOS in thoracic Morse code. You sleep. Dream of nurse stations staffed by manatees in stethoscopes. Coral grows through the ceiling tiles. The bell sways above your bed, its clapper replaced with a laughing gull's femur. A clipboard floats by. Shift change at 2 a.m. All urchins report to hydrothermal vents. Dawn leaks through blinds, strips of watery light across your palms. The hum's quieter now. Deeper, your throat aches like you've swallowed a ship's anchor. A janitor mops the hall his bucket, sloshes in time to the tide chart on your wall. The doctor arrives smelling of peppermint and formaldehyde. Remarkable recovery, he says, flipping pages. His tie features trout, or maybe submarines. Your blood work shows anomalies. He hesitates, eyes darting to the maritime law exception, stamps crowding your file. You flex salt-cracked knuckles. Ask about discharge. He frowns, tusk backslashing at your liver enzyme levels. Ever hear of the orang Maiden? He asks. 1947 ghost ship, crew dead, with terror-frozen faces. Autopsies showed similar markers. His pen circles a lab value. But you're breathing. So, the bell thrums low and insistent. You press a hand to the wall. Plaster pulses warm as sun-baked decking. The nurse enters with a pill cup. Its contents rattle like shingle in a storm. For the shakes, she says. You count 9 capsules, each imprinted with tiny anchors. Traffic drones beyond the window cars, as restless as unfurled sails. Your skin prickles, phantom kelp grazing your ankles. 3 seagulls perch on the AC unit. One shrieks the opening note of my heart will go on. The others harmonize. Physical therapy comes at noon. A technician named Marty with dolphin-patterned crocs. He makes you squeeze stress balls, shaped like man-o'-war jellyfish. Rehab for people who have journeyed, he says. His name tag reads Marty Tempest Survivor Group. Lunch arrives, low sodium stamped on the tray. Green jello quivers like sea lettuce. The bell's hum syncs with your jaw's motion, chewing, swallowing, surviving. You find a message under the milk carton. Tide's out at 3:17 a.m. South Dock. Visiting hours bring a woman claiming to be your niece. She smells of ambergris perfume and diesel. Uncle, she lies, pressing a cold coin into your palm. A 1923 silver dollar drilled with a barnacle hole. The bell purrs. You pocket the bribe. Sunset stains the room copper. The nurse returns with sedatives. Sleep's the best sailor, she quotes. You pretend to swallow. She knows. always knows. Her stethoscope brushes your wrist. The bell's pulse lives there now. Steady, relentless, hungry, midnight. The heart monitor's glow paints waves on the ceiling. Your bare feet find cold linoleum. The IV pole clatters, rolling anchor chain. You pass room 214. An old man sings sea shanties to his catheter bag. Nod. He nods back. Veterans of the same invisible war. Stairs lead down, emergency exit signs buzzing green. Your hospital gown flaps, a poor man's sail. The parking lot's empty, except for one taxi, its roof light crimson as a portside lantern. The driver's window descends. Pier 12, he asks. You don't remember speaking. Radio static fills the cab, distorted voices arguing in Norwegian. The meter flicks to 73 euros, or drachmas, or pieces of 8. You press the silver dollar to the partition. It sticks. The driver's reflection grins with too many teeth. South Dock's shadows stretch long. Wood pilings creak their welcome. Salt air pricks your nostrils. The bell's hum swells, vibrating your molars into tuning forks. Behind you, the city skyline winks out, each extinguished window a sinking ship. The taxi idles, engine growling like a starved dog. You step onto weathered planks. They sigh beneath your stolen grip socks. Somewhere beyond the breakwater, the bell sings true north, true home, true depth. Patient ID wristband flutters into dark water, its barcode dissolving like shipwreck ink. The 10% off coupon follows. Let the next dreamer find it. Let them laugh. Let them learn. Behind you, the nurse watches from the cab, her stethoscope glowing faintly in the ink-black air. Fluorescent light bleeds through your eyelids before you open them, that hospital glow like algae on midnight waves. The nurse's footsteps approach, rubber soles squeaking the way wet ropes sigh against davits. She adjusts the pillow beneath your head without asking her latex, gloves colder than deep water currents. Monitors beep the rhythm of a dory's oars dipping, too slow, one quick. Your throat burns worse than that time you swallowed drambuie laced with seawater. You try to speak tongue thick as hemp rigging. She presses a paper cup to your lips, water flavored with minerals no land well ever held. They always come back, she says, stethoscope swinging like a ship's pendulum. Her name tag reads Claire, but smells of tide pool rot. The 1918 influenza killed more sailors in port than combat ever did. You remember reading that somewhere between hallucinations. Her scrubs rustle, pockets weighted with drowned men's trinkets. A shark tooth, a wedding band, your silver dollar. She peels back your gown, checks the branching bruise over your ribs. It throbs in time to breakers only you hear. Verdigris necrosis. She lies to the clipboard, knowing better. Your skin's etched with patterns, only corroded bronze grows, spirals sharp as barnacle teeth. A retired naval surgeon once claimed seaweed poultices could halt gangrene. She uses something worse, oil from sperm whale cavities, maybe. Nightmares flicker at the room's edges, shadows of the bells, last victims clawing at porthole glass. You count 12 ceiling tiles, 13 if you squint. Claire hums a tune, not a shanty, but something older. Cantus Arcticus, she murmurs, sung by Ice Age shamans to calm glaciers. The IV bag drips, drip, drips, each drop a snowmelt, joining the flood. Dizziness rolls in phantom deck tilt. You grip the bedrail, that textured plastic, the same as barnacle rough anchor chains. Why? You manage, one syllable costing more air than free-diving 50 feet. Her laugh sounds like a foghorn, muted by curtains. She flashes an old Polaroid. You recognize the South Dock's splintered planks. In the grainy shot, a figure in a hospital gown kneels, face blurred but wristband clear. Teal 21. The date stamp reads October 17, 1998. You're not the first, she says, tucking the photo between mattress springs. Not the last. Her pager buzzes, Morse code, patterns too deliberate for electronics. Historians still argue whether drowned sailors' personal effects ever truly decay. Ship's logs say yes. Divers' journals swear no. Your appendix scar pulses like a sonar ping. Midnight's iodine tint seeps through blinds, turning Claire into a silhouette with nurse's cap edges sharp as cuttlebone. She scribbles illegible notes, the pen scratching like crab legs on wet sand. When she snaps the chart shut, 3 greenish moths flutter out, their wings shedding briny dust. Rest, she orders, but it's not a suggestion. The ceiling tiles ripple kelp forests, swaying beneath surface tension. You dream of gurneys converted into schooners, orderlies hoisting bedpan sails. A surgeon navigates by MRI screens their glowing cross-sections, charting reefs of bone and malignant shoals. Morning arrives gray and muttering, rain knuckling the window. Claire's gone, replaced by a candy striper with dolphin earrings and 0 survival instinct. Fruit cup, she asks, jiggling lime gelatin in your face. You shake your head. The bells drone live beneath your sternum now. They make you walk, grip-socked feet shuffling, past room 217. The old shanty singer's bed lies empty, curtains drawn around a stillness no heart monitor disrupts. A single barnacle clings to the IV stand, already dead, but still tasting salt. Discharge papers appear at noon, smudged ink and faux gold seals. Claire's signature loops, like rigging diagrams from some cursed captain's logbook. Avoid open water, the doctor warns, blank eyes suggesting he's given the speech 86 times. You nod the nod of beacon keepers who have already drowned. Your clothes feel alien, denim a prison, after years of waves caress. Claire watches from the nurse's station, smearing Vicks Vapo rub under her nose, like old school divers greasing mustaches. The elevator dings, a holds hatch creaking open. You step into the fluorescent gullet, its cables humming that familiar dirge. The cab idles outside, same driver, same fractured windshield. He's reading Moby Dick backward, pages rustling like storm-torn sails. You glance back once. Claire's silhouette fills the second-floor window, stethoscope coils hanging loose as Portuguese man-o'-war tentacles. She lifts a hand, not waving, weighing anchor. Rain slicks the streets into mercury rivers, stoplights bleeding through fog. The meter clicks past 79, currency symbols lost to rust and salt. You drum fingers on knee, tapping out the bell's new tempo. Come home, come home, come home. South Dock decays in the downpour, warps in the planks, whispering, step here, step here, step here. The bells call crescendos, tugging your fillings into alignment with true north. Claire's Polaroid flutters from your pocket, soggy paper, revealing what you feared. The blurred face in the 98 photo wears your eyes, your scars, your surrender. The driver honks once as you stride toward the pier's end. No wristband, no coins, no lies left to swallow. Waves churn below each crest, tongue-licking barnacles from your bones. When you leap, the bell's final note cradles your descent, 7 octaves below human hearing, 17 fathoms beyond salvation. Above, Claire adjusts her nurse's cap, already scanning the horizon for teal 23. Pills rattle in the orange bottle, each shake a wave, eating coastline. You crunch them dry, chalky grit, like beach sand between molars. High tides due at 3:17 a.m. The clock radio glows too. 53 in poison green. Your landlady's apartment smells of burnt toast and defeat, a far cry from kelp forests. Claire's prescription loops on the label. Take 3 nightly with salt water. Historians still argue whether 18th century sailors blamed bananas for sinking ships or just spoiled food. You swallow the 9th dose, your birth certificate's ink bleeding into the bathroom mirror. The sink drips in tidal Morse. Sharpen the knife. Mercury once anchored medical cures, lunatics. Saliva harvested for moon-driven tides. Your reflection flickers, jawline softening into someone who answers to deckhand. Neon flashes through blinds, strobing the room into a lighthouse cell. You count heartbeats as breakers, 7 between flashes. A banana peel rots on the windowsill, bad luck or bad housekeeping. The bell groans beneath the city's hum. Subway trains its new clapper. Your phone buzzes, nagging about therapy bills. You throw it into the fish tank. Goldfish nibble at the screen's lie. Low tide, 5:42 a.m. 3:16. Pavement outside sweats oil patches, streets ready to liquefy. Keyholes weep brine down the front door, the bell's doing. You press palms to wood. It pulses like a dying porpoise's side. Pharmacies sell shark liver oil as memory supplements now. Retired captains swear by it, license plates across state lines. 3:17. The first floorboard buckles, salt water seeping through oak veins. Your pills kick in, turning ankles scaly as a dinghy's hull. The bell's note hits, a subsonic shove toward the vestibule. You stumble barefoot, hallway stretching kelp-long. Mail slots belch crab shells, rent checks devoured by sand. Downstairs, the landlady's TV blares infomercials, stain remover tested against crock and ink. Her parakeet squawks, phrases only shipwrecked parrots mimic. You hit the street as manholes blow, geysers spewing starfish and rust. Fire hydrants vomit conger eels, their bodies slick with subway grime. The bell's call triangulates through sewage rivers, a GPS only your sternum decrypts. Someone shouts from a third-floor window, tides early tonight. It's Claire, nurse's cap, swapped for a sou'wester. She tosses down a lifeline, old IV tubes, knotted with bedpan floats. You catch it, hands already webbed enough to grip. Sirens wail, upstream, Coast Guard, or book club ladies chasing the surf. Sidewalks dissolve into riptides, street signs now buoys. The bell crescendos, its voice peeling asphalt like sunburn. You dive into the intersection's whirlpool, mouth open, ready to trade lungs for gills. The last pill dissolves your name erased from every lease and lithium mine. Rain hammers the cab's roof, each drop a copper penny thrown by dead passengers. You slide into vinyl cracked like sea ice, the smell of armor, all in low tide. The driver's mirror shows only your collar, his eyes stay on the road. Where to? He grunts, voice bubbling through a tracheostomy scar. You don't answer. The bell's hum vibrates your molars into GPS coordinates. His meter ticks like a depth finder, 84 coins glowing corpse blue. Tires hydroplane through intersections, now canals. Stoplights swim belly up as jellyfish. You recall the Maritime Museum's exhibit. Victorian lifeboats carried citrus rations to prevent scurvy and polish brass. The cab's dispenser offers lemon-scented wipes. You wonder about vitamin C doses in storm surges. A police cruiser floats past, sirens gurgling. The cop inside blows a duck collar. Folklore says it appeases freshwater spirits during tidal incursions. You press your webbed palm to the glass. His flashlight beam retreats like a startled squid. Smugglers once used Halifax cabbies to move rum through prohibition tunnels. Historians still argue whether the tunnels collapsed or just got better at hiding. Your driver takes a sharp left, seawater sloshing up floor vents. The meter hits 84. He kills the engine mid-flood. Double or nothing, he says, license photo smirking with algae-stained teeth. You toss a pearl necklace onto the dash, cultured freshwater from Claire's nightstand. His fingers mold their epidermis as he counts, each skin flake dissolving into kelp mulch. The door pops open. A carp floats by with a Metro Transit hat. You step into shin-high brine, street lamps bowing like exhausted lighthouse keepers. Behind you, the cabs, tires morph into barnacled pontoons. The driver salutes with a hand, now all bone and bladderwrack. His AM radio chanting tsunami warnings in Latin. Subway grates blow geysers of mussel shells. Your pill-addled legs remember creaking gangplanks. A stray drifter's VHS box floats past, a blogger's guide to ghost ships. You pocket it. Experts think waterlogged cassettes hold drowned men's final confessions. 3 bridges loom ahead, their arches dripping with bioluminescent plankton. Traffic signs, now worn of rogue tides and selkie crossings. Your phone's dead Uber surge, pricing ticker reads, Infinity X Riptide Multiplier. A ferry terminal materializes through fog, its schedule board stuck on last departure. 3:17 a.m. The bell's note thrums in your fillings, lower octave now, dock pilings, answering in splintered harmonics. You wade past a capsized food truck. Its specials board advertises emergency mermaid diet. Krill swarm your ankles, each flicker synced to the meter's final tick in the drowned cab. Wind steals your breath, or maybe gills are forming. The dock's planks flex like a living deck, each wave a carpenter, adjusting the fit. You glance back. The taxi's taillights sink like drunk anglerfish. Coins spill from your pocket, 8-4 tarnished discs from countries that no longer mint optimism. The fares paid double. The tolls paid in full. Salt crystallizes on your eyelids, stinging like that time Claire tested ancient Egyptian weep therapy. The bell groans, a sound felt in molars and old fractures. You walk toward the note, bare feet, adhering to soaked wood like limpets. No goodbye, no manifest, just the ache of a lung deciding between air and memory. The taxi's radio fades into whale song, 84 heartbeats folded into the tide's ledger. The ledger materializes on a barrelhead, pages warped by decades of dock mist. Your finger hovers over page 72. The paper tastes of spleenwort ink and oyster spat. Names swim beneath your touch, Einarsson, Vasco. Leeway each entry, blotched by saltwater tears from 6 different oceans. You press your palm flat, skin adhering like vellum. The quill appears of its own accord, crow feather fused with albatross bone. Historians still argue whether Victorian captains listed crew debts or lovers' promises in manifests. This one writes in both. Your name blooms crimson, a perfect forgery in Archibald McLesh's copperplate hand. The R trembles, identical to the mark on Claire's divorce papers. Behind you, a sailor spits tobacco juice into a pewter spittoon. It hits the deck as living krill. Experts think this was how infected crews communicated during quarantine. The bell groans overhead, its clapper now a pendulum slicing centuries. Signatories get double rations. Rasps the purser his face, a blur of ledger margins. His wig writhes with shipworms. You spot 3 distinct species from the Sargasso Sea. The joke about accountants and barnacle taxonomy dies on your tongue, better suited for happier voyages. Your signature dries into a latitude coordinate, 23 degrees 17 N, 82 degrees 23 W. Havana's harbor master once jailed 15 men for smuggling clocks disguised as conch shells, a fact you'll whisper to Claire if the currents allow. The bell's hum vibrates, the inkwell mercury droplets form a tiny armillary sphere. Page 72 writhes, your name devours adjacent entries. Midshipman P Callahan's confession of stealing biscuit mold becomes your third cousin's dental records. Cook's notes on curing scurvy with fried lichen mutate into Claire's gluten-free pudgy recipe. The purser nods. This always happens with latecomers. Someone chants sea shanties in the hold. The tune matches your cardiogram from St. Anne's ER. You wonder if defibrillators work on rigging. The bell answers with a C-sharp, same frequency as fairy deal ledgers went for at Christie's last spring. Dockyard ghosts materialize, spectral clerks, tallying casks of molasses and regret. Their abacuses click like crab claws. You recognize the intern from the Maritime Museum's gift shop. She winks, her name tag now reads LT. Pickering, Department of Spectral Audits. The purser stamps your entry with a seal that shouldn't exist. Queen Victoria's profile blended with a sturgeon's jawline. Bureaucracy outlives empires, outlives species, outlives oxygen. Your chest tightens as the wax cools, a perfect impression of the bell's underside. Mind the rats. Someone mutters, too late. A whiskered shadow leaps onto the ledger, consumes the estimated tonnage column. Its eyes glow like mismatched buoy lights, one green, one white. You resist the urge to check if your ankles still cast shadows. The bell tolls, once for the living, twice for customs inspectors. The purser dissolves into ledger lines. His final warning about cross-hatched watermarks lost to a sneeze. Your name pulses like a jellyfish sting, ink migrating toward the final disposition field. Gulls cry overhead, or maybe it's the hinge on Claire's balcony door. You taste zinc and longing, same as the day she sold your diving gear. Page 72 folds itself into a paper schooner, rigging made from your hair. Sails from unanswered texts. Light fractures through the ledger's whale haze, dawn or diving bell. The vessel unfurls, a chart of your meridians and mistakes. Historians will later debate whether the smudge at 2:17 a.m. was a tear or typhoon residue. You know better, it's the exact shape of a swallowed apology. The bell licks the word home, bronze tongue lapping at your fingerprints. 72 leagues beneath consciousness, 72 heartbeats. Since landfall, the ink dries. Air shimmers like varnish over rotten timber. You step aboard. No turning back now, except there's always turning back, always the lie of dry docks and daylight. The ledger slams, shut its spine crackling with the sound of every door you've closed. Your teeth ache from pretending otherwise. Somewhere beyond the riptide, Claire wraps leftover pad thai. The microwave clock blinks 3:17, universal code for maritime surrender. She won't find your note until Tuesday. Same day, the museum reports a missing bell clapper. You breathe deep, savoring the rot. Oakum and tax evasion. Rot gut rum and jury duty notices. The bell sways. Its new groove matches your next slump. Final entry logged. Final argument drowned. The purser's voice echoes from a porthole. Welcome to the crew. His wink suggests you've been here before we'll be here again. The ledger dissolves into seafoam, each bubble containing a visa stamp. Only the bell remains, eternally patient, eternally hungry. You touch your sternum, the pharmacist's pills long gone, and hum its note back. The wind hits like a wine mom, spotting free sangria, all teeth and no apologies. Docking lines snap, not with a crack, but your parents' divorce attorney clearing his throat. The bell's voice stitches wave to cloud, a ladder of sound you climb barefoot. Timber creaks, the dock becomes the Marie Celeste's healthier cousin. Sails billow where there were none, gray canvas pregnant with forgotten storms. Historians still argue whether Blackbeard's treasure was pepper sacks or peat moss. You'd settle for Dramamine. Salt crusts your lips, same vintage as those workers repainting the Titanic's underwater buffet. No helm spins. Wheelhouse windows show 8 reflections of your left ear. Air smells of split pine and the faintest zest soap. Some ghosts insist on hygiene. The bell towers where the mast should be, its clapper, now a pendulum counting heartbeats. Experts think barnacles migrate, using whale song vibrations. This flock follows your off-key humming. Horizons stretch like airline Wi-Fi, endless and unconcerned with human needs. Stars flicker, not celestial bodies, but bioluminescent jellyfish trapped in the bell's wake. Your knees recall land's sway, phantom pavement, tilting beneath imaginary loafers. Moonlight glints off the ship's new nameplate, SS ongoing, regret etched over faded persistence. You mutter the Kelly Clarkson lyric about chandeliers. The bell harmonizes in a minor key. Currents twist the hull wood groaning like a guitarist's first F chord. Queen Anne's Revenge ran aground here in 1808. Sandbars still blush with stolen cocoa beans. Your pockets fill with iridescent snails, living paperweights for desk jobs you'll never resume. The bell inhales. 23 gulls freeze mid-squawk. You exhale, they combust into feather confetti. Someone's clapping, probably that accountant who touched the cursed snuff box in Section 9. Dawn leaks through cloud rot, lightning without the showmanship. Mermaid purrs, rattle the keel. Old naval logs called them wavewives. Indigestion. Your teeth tingle with the voltage of unread emails. Outlook notifications become barnacle larvae. The bell's shadow grows teeth. A calendar of missed anniversaries biting your shoulders. You hum a sea shanty tick-tock remix. 3 sharks roll their eyes and dive. Night falls, or maybe you're squinting. The bell's hum embroiders constellations into sailcloth. Ursa Major doing keg stands. A albatross drops a expired Groupon for laser hair removal. You've missed the redemption date by 2 centuries. Waves carve sonnets into the hull, Shakespeare, if he'd written for trucker caps. Your Bluetooth earbud finally dies. Its last charge spent on a true crime podcast ad. Morning brings a horizon line, sharp as the gym membership you keep ignoring. Salt crystallizes in your eyelashes, nature's glitter. The bell purrs when scratched behind its patina, same as Claire's tabby back in Section 11. Dolphins leap in perfect sync. Their squeaks translate to "We've been trying to reach you about the ship's warranty." You toss them the laser hair removal coupon. They deem it mid and vanish. Time folds your watch now, shows Babylonian hours. The bell tolls lunch, rancid jerky, and kombucha that winks at you. Historians will attribute the ship's course to trade winds. You know, it's avoiding Claire's lawyer's office. The mast grows a zit. It's Helsinki's latitude in pus form. You pop it with a marlin spike. Scandinavia dribbles down the deck. Stars reset like a slot machine. You get 3 Leo Minoris and a blooper reel. The bell yawns. Its breath smells of Skype breakup calls and melted crayons. Waves carve their names into the bow, each crest a different X's handwriting. You carve "was here" beneath them. The ship approves with a creak. Land appears, or maybe it's a collective hallucination. The bell rings once sharp as a prenup clause. Palm trees wave like Uber drivers at lax. Sand glows, crushed anxiety meds mixed with parrotfish poop. You consider swimming until a conch shell offers free timeshare presentations. The bell laughs, a sound felt in molars, not ears. Sunset bleeds through the bell's crack, staining your hands the color of rental furniture deposits. The first star whispers your coordinates, same ones from Claire's thrown away anniversary card. You pocket the light. It burns through 3 layers of existential dread. The ship lists not from waves, but the weight of unwritten Yelp reviews. Midnight stitches sea to sky. The bells hum your only suture. You count bioluminescent jellyfish, each pulse a VIP pass to Davy Jones' locker. The ocean offers a loyalty program. 20 shipwrecks earn a free drowning. You're at 19. Dawn breaks like a carnival prize, cheap but sparkly. The bell's tongue licks the horizon, salt and sunscreen and lost potential. You whisper the coordinates, it answers with a lullaby older than anchors. Waves murmur names. You reply with the ones that don't hurt anymore. The deck sighs, rotten wood finally at peace. Your shadow walks ahead, already docking at ports you'll never visit. The bell follows, patient as interest charges. Something clicks, not the mast or rigging, but your sternum unlocking. Air fills places dust owned for decades. You breathe with the bell now, its voice your diaphragm, its rhythms your pulse. The horizon stretches, not a boundary, but an invitation frayed at both ends. Salt air peels your lambskin away, each flake a forgotten appointment. Waves keep calling. You keep answering. The air below decks tastes like a water park hot tub, chlorine ghosts, and forgotten band-aids. Warped planks press downward. 29 resin-soaked bundles twitch in time with the bell. Your bare foot finds a rusted cleat, same model the Titanic's crew used to secure deck chairs before the buffet closed. Historians still argue whether Cleopatra's famed golden barges had below-deck latrines or just really committed servants. One bundle unfurls, linen wrappings spit out a Roman fibula pin. It stabs your calf, the universe's worst participation trophy. Another shape hums, a melody Pliny the Elder allegedly stole for his wine-making thesis. You recognize the tune from a bass-boosted lo-fi playlist. Coincidence? Or time-traveling copyright infringement? Light bleeds through rotted seams. It's not sunlight, but bioluminescent fungi colonizing the bilge. Experts think Napoleon's soldiers smuggled these spores in their boot heels, nature's glow sticks for midnight retreats. The nearest bundle coughs up a wig powder puff, Georgian-era dry shampoo. You pocket it. Claire might appreciated the gesture back when she still answered texts. The choir sharpens, voices layered like museum security tags. A priestess's hymn tangles with a privateer's shanty, both requesting more reverb. Your throat vibrates, decades of karaoke shame evaporate. The bell's note thrums beneath your ribs, a subwoofer set to existential. Two shapes fuse their resin shell, cracking like a cream brulee. Inside, an Egyptian Senate board fused with a Nokia 3310. Snake, eyes blink on the screen, low battery, in hieroglyphics. You press 5. It dials a number that disconnected when flip phones roamed the earth. Cold spreads, not iceberg cold, but forgotten leftovers cold. The bundle to your left leaks black fluid, 18th century printer ink, or eternal soul goo. A label floats past cargo. 3 casks code stone, 1 crate mummified parrots. You smirk. Those fake stone blocks still outlive their makers in London's architecture. The choir hits a minor chord your sinuses ache with the scent of Victorian laudanum. A bundle erupts, scrolls, and iPhone chargers spill out. The papyrus lists Ptolemaic grain shipments. Item 711 cursed bell, slightly used. Your toes curl, same reflex as stepping on Legos barefoot. Lightning flashes, or maybe a camera cruise bulb from the 1930s. Shadows stretch Presley's hips, Tesla's smirk, your third-grade teacher's disappointed frown. The bell shudders, its crack widens into a smile. You toss in the fibula pin, a sacrifice to the theater kid in all of us. Dawn scratches at the hull nails on a chalkboard dipped in melatonin. The bundles dissolve their essence, seeping into the bell's patina. 1 clump resists, a Viking's toe bone, clutching a Half-Life 3 beta cartridge. You hum the Xbox startup tone. It crumbles into library of Alexandria confetti. Salt crystallizes on your tongue, flavored with Marlboro lights and middle school regrets. The choir fades, replaced by a tinnitus orchestra tuning their instruments. The bell's note stretches, a silly putty echo of every "we need to talk" you've dodged. Horizons reappear, still fake as the ship's Wi-Fi password. Waves scribble sonnets in Sharpie on the hull. Bukowski, if he'd focused on nautical themes. You trace the graffiti. Your fingerprint unlocks a hidden drawer of Spanish doubloons. They taste of chocolate coins and tax evasion. Lanterns flicker oil swapped for CBD extract. The shadows relax, shoulders slumping as their shift ends. Your reflection warps in the bell's curve, bigger nose, kindercore aura, eyes holding exit signs, the final bundle size, releasing a perfume of burnt popcorn and Chanel No. 5. You inhale, the ship's rhythm syncs with your Spotify-wrapped top track. The bell purrs, a sound felt in baby teeth and expired coupons. 28 voices become 29, your contribution sounding suspiciously like auto-tuned whale song. Night falls, or maybe the amenities fee finally cleared. Stars spin a disco ball for insomniac angels. The bell's crack glows, Wi-Fi symbol mocking your carrier's dead zone. You whisper the SSID, eternity guest. The password, TRYPHONES2. Dawn arrives wearing yesterday's eyeliner. Salt crusts your cheeks, fake tears for a real audience. The choir reforms this time as a barbershop quartet, singing sea shanties. You harmonize off-key, history grades you pass-fail. The bell exhales, wood creaks your shadow, high-fives Magellans, bundles rise, resin shells now biodegradable glitter. Air stings like sanitizer and closure. Waves keep calling. You keep answering, each note tuning the next chapter's key. Your shadow stretches thin as the line between duty and obsession. Salt crusts your lips, tastes like the lutein bell's insurance claim from 1799. Historians still argue whether its single toll meant treasure saved or lives lost. Waves lick your ankles, each tongue whispers Jenkins, Mara al-Rabiha. You nod keeper and kept swapping roles like a morbid timeshare. The bell's patina grows hairline cracks, veins mapping every storm since Lepanto's cannon smoke. Your thumb finds a groove, same spot Admiral his helmsman wore, smooth dodging turtle ships. Cold seeps through your shoes. 19th century sailors swore wet soles attracted Kraken attention. You'd laugh, but something shifts in the water's pupil black depths. Starlight reflects off the bell now, pocked like a teenager's phone screen. A wave deposits plastic at your feet. A 1977 Atari cartridge frosted with barnacles. Pac-Man ghosts float in the resin, their wails tuned to selkie mating calls. You pocketed Claire Might, crushed your high score before ghosting your DMs. Dawn coughs up seagulls, their cries ripped from a cassette tape left in the sun. The bell exhales. It smells of burnt toast and Versailles, unwashed wigs. 7. Phosphorescent jellyfish pulse nearby. Living mood rings for the ocean's divorce era. One brushes your hand. Its venom feels like getting Seinfeld canceled in 1998. Horizons multiply. Russian nesting dolls of open water. A frigate bird drops half a Cheeto, supreme nacho dust, staining the bell's crown. You lick it, regret follows, like a terms of service agreement. The bird cackles, its ancestors probably mugged Darwin for beetle samples. Memories rise, Bradley's laugh, as he booked your first cruise. Mom's voicemail breaking mid-word. That cashier who gifted extra fries with your failure latte. The bell digests them all, its bronze growing warmer with second-hand nostalgia. Part of you wants to text Emma, Guess who became a maritime relic's emotional support human? Reception's dead carrier pigeons would hang up on you. The bell's clapper swings, a metronome counting rationalizations. Just 5 more minutes becomes 50 years. Clouds mimic stained glass, Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, filtered through gas station sunglasses. Rain pricks your neck, each drop imprinted with Sappho's lost verses. You catch 3, they dissolve into tick-tock sounds on your tongue. Night falls, a ripped black garbage bag over the sun. Bioluminescent plankton replaces your shadow, your silhouette, now glowing like a convenience store sign. The bell hums Bohemian Rhapsody, off-key Freddie Mercury, winking from the 7th wave. Your knees lock, rigor mortis for the eternally employed. Wave patterns start looking like zoning laws, parking tickets, your 8th grade cursive. The bell chuckles, a vibration felt in baby teeth and rent checks. By month 3, or is it 1742, you've named the horizon Susan. She's a shitty friend, but great listener. The bell sprouts barnacle braille, translates to milk 2%, passive aggression, half-truths. A container ship blips past its crew, oblivious to your existence. You wave yogurt-covered raisins, their night snack of choice. In 2005, the bell groans. It prefers cashews, but respects the hustle. Memories of Wi-Fi blur, apps decay into sailor knots, tweets into tide charts. Your thumbs trace supply routes, Hanseatic League meets DoorDash queued in Valhalla. The bell approves, its clapper now shaped like a 5-star review. Dawn cracks another energy drink. Light spills synthetic violet. Your reflection in the bell shows crow's feet and coral earrings. Claire's puff rests in your pocket, its powder long gone. Still soft, though like potential that never cashed its check. When the moon vomits comets, you teach the bell to play Wonderwall. Gulls harmonize horribly. Historians will cite this as the moment karaoke sank Atlantis. Your left pinky fossilizes. Future museum labels will call it devotion arthritis. Years melt centuries. The bell's voice lives in your dental fillings. Susan the horizon files for divorce. You keep the starfish. Storms feel like deja vu. First kisses, dental cleanings. One Tuesday or Zep Day. The bell births a conch shell. It whispers PlayStation cheats for games that haven't shipped. You consider retirement. Maybe open a Taco Bell / Wetzel's Pretzels fusion joint. But the waves keep tutoring your tongue in forgotten verbs. Your shadow adopts 6 new arms karma, or poor ergonomics. The bell yawns. It's tired of your quarter-life crisis. Sunrise, sunset. Same difference when you're married to the motif. You carve was here into the bell. The sea adds not anymore in kelp. The bargain holds one eternal shift. Unlimited bathroom breaks. Waves murmur your middle name. Your pin that thing you shouted at Dad's funeral. You answer each keeper and kept until the tide forgets its own lyrics. Susan winks. It's definitely not glaucoma. The bell snores in D minor. You brace for the next millennia's opening act. Same as the old boss, same as the new boss, same as this sentence's 18th word.